Oh, yeah. I am awake and alive.
I'm so great, I gotta say it twice and cut it out once. My head's a syrup bottle that's getting tipped over every Wednesday. You're a storyteller in a storytelling podcast, and the only story you're telling now is a story about stories you don't want to tell. What the fuck? Hey, what's happening, Mike Schmidt, 40-Year-Old Boy Podcast. Things have settled down. Things have mellowed out a little bit, folks. Things have evened out since last week. Things are not completely good. Things are not completely better. Well, they're better. I guess they're better. They're certainly better. My wife isn't a buffet for bugs anymore. Right now, in this moment. She may be in the future. We still don't know. Things are still a crapshoot. Things are still a coin flip. Things are still up in the air like George Clooney, folks. I don't know what is happening. I have no idea. Lily and I were just having a nice chat about burlesque and all of her friends and all of the things that she does when she goes out with these people. I'm a burlesque fan, as I've mentioned to you before, sort of. I can't decide. I don't know. There's art to it from what I've heard. And you've heard me. I've waxed rhapsodic about shows that I've seen and I've enjoyed. And then there's shows that I've seen that are fucking tragic and awful. My problem with it, as I've talked about many, many times on here, is the weird community poser refusing to grow up and be in the real world because we have tattoos of bows on our calves. You know what I mean? Like that kind of weird. And it seems weird and strange. Now, you don't care because you don't know anything about burlesque, and that's fine. Or maybe you do. Maybe you've studied, because you've listened to the show, you've studied all there is to know about burlesque. And maybe I'm coming from a different kind of place. Maybe you're above me. Now you've climbed above me on Burlesque Mountain, and you've got all of the knowledge that you could possibly hope to handle. And now I'm going to sit here and talk about it and insult it, and you're going to be like, dude, and you're going to look down at me from Burlesque Mountain, and you're going to throw glitter at me, or a fucking... Actually, glitter's more of a stripper thing. Glitter's not a burlesque thing, I don't think. Burlesque is more of a streamers thing, right? Well, no, you have streamers in your one act. What do burlesque people have?
There's glitter, there's confetti, there's streamers, there's
Confetti.
aerial silks, you name it.
Aerial Silks. Whoa, that's a great name for a burlesque person. How the fuck is there not a burlesque person named Aerial Silks?
There probably is.
There is. Look it up, folks. Although, who am I telling you? You guys are on Burlesque Mountain. You know all there is to know about burlesque, as we've talked about. The reason I bring this up, and here's why. All right, because I know Lily's friends, and they're all great, and we get along fine and stuff. I'm a little, I'm a cynical dick, so, I don't do so well sometimes when everybody's sitting around and they're talking about feathers, which is fine, good for them. But I'm bad anyway with people talking about anything at all in the world. But let alone people who have a subset of what they're interested in, and I have to sit there and pretend that I like it over biscuits and gravy. And that's, I haven't been to breakfast with them in a long time, but when I would go to breakfast with them, it was always nice, and I would try to be as friendly as I possibly could, but then inevitably it would turn into a talk fest about burlesque, and then I would be out, folks, because I don't know a thing about it other than what Lily and I talk about and the things that I don't like. And nobody wants to hear me talk about the things I don't like at breakfast. They just had a triumphant burlesque show. Everybody carried them out on their shoulders, and now we're sitting there ordering salads, and I'm going to go, by the way, everything you do is horrible. I can't do that. That's pathetic. But my problem, like I said, is with the posering, the lifestyle, the weird... people wearing a Carmen Miranda fruit hat in real life and pretending like nobody should notice. You know what I mean? You got a hat full of grapes. Get it the fuck off your head. What's wrong with you? What are you talking about? I think this is my hat. I think I look great in it. You don't. You look ridiculous. You look fucking ridiculous. You look like you've been drawn into a Looney Tunes cartoon and Daffy Duck should do a conga line with you. Get the fuck out of here with that stupid hat. Don't get it. I bring this up because I watch a show called Top Chef Masters. Folks. Top Chef Masters is a show where they have, Top Chef, all right, there's a variation. Top Chef is a show where they get a bunch of unknown chefs and they put them in a city and make them do a bunch of stupid challenges until they come up with a top chef. Then they went, you know what, we're not beating this horse into the ground nearly enough. Let's find another way to exploit the Top Chef name. So they came up with Top Chef Masters. And they get real chefs. And I don't mean, all right, look, if you're on Top Chef, you're a real chef. I don't mean that you're not a real chef. But Top Chef Masters is established dudes like Rick Bayless from Chicago, who I've mentioned on here many times before. Chris Cosentino from San Francisco, who owns Pig. I mean, these are big names. And they come in and they compete for charity, but they wind up doing a bunch of stupid shit. But the worst part of the show, folks, if you watch Top Chef Masters, they have to cook for celebrities, usually in the quick fire. And when they cook for the celebrities, it's so fucking annoying because then they have to act like they care about the celebrities. It's like, have you ever seen a show? Like, they'll do that a lot of times. I On actual Top Chef, they'll have celebrities come in. Okay, and then the Top Chefs have to go, ooh, ah. I guarantee you, none of these fucking people care. Last year during Top Chef, they had a show where Patti LaBelle, they had to cook for Patti LaBelle, and like they went to a hotel bar and Patti LaBelle was there and she sang, and they were like, oh my god, and they try to act like they were really excited. And I'm guaranteeing you that of the 12 people in that room, 9 of them went, I don't give a fuck about Patti LaBelle. I'm here to make pork chops, and that's the fuck it. But instead, they had to sit in a hotel bar and hear Patti LaBelle sing, and then they have to. The worst part is then they make them give testimony about how great it was. So they put them in a little confessional room like they do for Big Brother, and they're just like, to sit in a hotel bar and listen to Patti LaBelle sing to just like 30 of us, it was one of the most amazing moments of my life. No, it wasn't. It was not at all. Make a roast. Shut the fuck up. I don't like personality. I told you that it's like when I watch Chopped and they're like, why are you here today? Well, I don't know if you heard, my sister has spina bifida. Nobody gives a shit. Make me a bread pudding I'm going to stick my cock into. That's it. That's the only reason you're here. I don't care about your backstory. I don't care about your family. Because I will tell you this. Have I talked about this before? I swear to God, I've talked about it. Because if you watch Chopped, another thing is everybody wants to impress their family. Did I talk about that on here? Everybody's like, oh my God, I want to make my parents proud. You're not making your parents proud by making Jell-O. You're not doing it. Go build something. We used to build things in this country, for fuck's sake. You're making a vinaigrette. So I bring it up because, they make the people do that. The peons have to pretend that they like Patti LaBelle, and that's fine. But the worst, now they're doing it to the Top Chef Masters. Because the Top Chef Masters should be the stars of the show. They're masters, after all. They own their own fucking restaurants. They've been in the business. They're established. They're names in the industry. So let them cook. That's all we want to see. Honestly, if you said we've got the Top Chef Masters, and you just said, make us your best shit every single week. Look, if you want to give them an ingredient that they got to incorporate, hey, here's celery. Put it in your food. I don't give a fuck. That's fine. But when you have to watch these people make shit and then make shit for celebrities and then pretend that they give a shit about the celebrities. A couple of weeks ago, the Quickfire Challenge, where they had to make vegetarian dishes for those well-known vegetarians, the B-52s. Who gives a flying fuck about the B-52s anymore? Who? And it was only Kate and Fred. Really? Hand up? Good. Then you can make them a vegetarian dish. The worst part is they had these people, so they have to cook for them, and the B-52s are locked off. They're they're off in the Love Shack. They're locked into the Love Shack, but that's the worst part is then they talk. They go, "You're going to cook for the B-52s," and then the chefs are like, they pretend like they care. The chefs don't give a fuck. Chefs cook for celebrities and heads of state all the fucking time. They don't give a shit about some washed-up band from the '80s who rolls in on a rock lobster board. Nobody gives a shit. But they've got to go ahead and try to pretend that they care, because then they show these little interstitials where they talk and they go, and there's a chef named Art Smith. I have a relationship with Art Smith, by the way. Yeah, I do. Art Smith used to be Oprah's personal chef. He owned a restaurant in Chicago that I ate at when a van got stolen. That motherfucker, I tried to get them to do anything they could to help me. They're like, sorry, that company doesn't work for us. Fuck you, Top Chef Master. Buy me a van. Well, he's like a gay dude, but when he was on Oprah, he was kind of like a subdued gay dude, all right? So, because he was a heavy dude. He was kind of fat, and he was a subdued gay guy, but you knew, and he was always very, well, now, Art Smith has lost over 100 pounds. He lost 125 pounds. I think it's 125 or 110. And you know what he lost? He lost 110 pounds of inhibition. That's what he lost. And he also lost 110 pounds of straight, because that came off of him right away and just left a chorus girl. He is now a cheerleading, mincing chorus girl. That's who he is. And that's fine if that's who you want to be, because, the thing is, I get that, all right? It's like a reawakening and a spiritual discovery. And you're like, when I was fat, I was unhappy, but now I'm gay and I'm married and I'm here and loving it. Like that kind of bullshit. It's like, good for you, chorus line. Enjoy your fucking self. I don't give a fuck. That's fine. But that was the thing, is it became a theme on every show, where he talked about being gay and having lost all the weight, and he's so gay, and I've lost weight, and by the way, have I mentioned that I'm gay? Which is fine, but the worst part is then when they talk about the B-52s, they throw it to Art Smith, and he's like, I'm so happy to cook for the B-52s, because you know what? My two favorite songs by them are Rock Lobster and Love Shack, and they came out when I came out, honey. All right, listen to me. Rock Lobster, I think, this is a guess, I think it came out in 1979. Love Shack came out in 1988. That's 9 years of you coming out, Art Smith? Really? 9 years? That because I mean, look, I understand you want to go for a soundbite and you're cute and that's what you want to say and you're full of vibrancy because now you're getting the cock regularly and good for you. But still, to say something that stupid, do you think we don't have Google, R. Smith? Is that what you think? Do you think I can't? Do you think we're not familiar with the B-52s? I mean, sure, you knew they were famous vegetarians. That was the thing that cracked me up. They're like, look, they're famous for being vegetarians. No, they're not at all. At all. That's not the first thing I think of. If anything, I think of Fred Schneider eating meat constantly. So,
Oh my god.
you just get that? All right. No, he's like Art Smith. See, get it? Because they enjoy the penis. So, I kept time with myself there. Da, 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 dee, da, da, da.
Oh my god.
So, but the worst part is when they have to kiss the asses of the B-52s. It's like, dude, these guys are playing county fairs and eating corn dogs on fried Twinkies. And they don't act like they're doing you a favor by showing up. They're the B-52s. They're promoting an album that no one will ever buy, ever in a million years. If there's new music from you will really hand up. Good fucking Lord. Why are you? You're just the showstopper at this point. You're the invalidator.
I like them.
You would not buy their new album.
I have all of their music.
Oh my God. All right, but then you're my target audience. Did you know that they were famous vegetarians?
I knew they were vegetarians.
Fuck
They were famous.
that.
I guess
Good
they're famous
Lord.
and vegetarian.
No one believes you at all. You're just being contrary at this
No,
point.
I knew they were vegetarians because that's part of some of their hippie shtick. You know?
Ugh. But regardless, Art Smith has to say that his favorite songs by them are Rock Lobster and Love Shack. I wanted to go, name one more song, Art.
I know.
Name one more song by the B-52s. I can name 4 more, probably. 3 more. But there's no way I guarantee you he could not name one more. So, but they have to act like they care about those people. All right. Then 2 weeks ago, look, brace yourselves, folks. They had to cook a quick fire. And again, the best part is when they announce it like it's a big thing and the chefs are supposed to react like, wow, that's great. Fucking, they have this big robot Australian who comes out and he's the host, this guy Curtis. And he's like, today you're going to cook for the Indigo Girls. And everybody's like, ooh, yay. And I'm like, are you fucking joking? The Indigo Girls, really? Like, honestly, if you went to the Indigo Girls website, they would have the Top Chef kitchen as a tour stop. That's how fucking unpopular they are at this point. It would say, we're at the Top Chef kitchen this date. They would schedule it as a tour date just to make you think they were fucking working. And look, I recognize there's some subgroup that loves the Indigo Girls, and we all know who I'm talking about, you short-nail boot-wearing ladies. But still... good for you. And maybe they let you come alive, and maybe when you listen to them, you realize that you wanted to like ladies, and that's fine. Good for you. I don't care. I don't care for their music. I don't dislike them. They're wonderful people. But don't pass them off as famous, please. Don't act like they... And again, because you know me, I don't feel there's any such thing as selling out. I feel if you still make your living playing music, then good for you. The B-52s and the Indigo Girls, they still make a living as a band playing music, and people recognize their names and love the work that they've done in the past. So I'm not denigrating what they've done. But on a show like Top Chef Masters, when the other people have to act like they're so happy that they're there, that they're famous, and they're not. Well, they are famous, sort of, but not really. Jesus Christ, listen to me, folks. Just give me a break when I try to tell you about what I'm talking about, okay? I recognize that the Indigo Girls are a band, and they sell records, although not now, and then they tour, and there are people who like them, but they're not hot. I guess that's what I'm looking for. And I don't mean hot in the looking sense. I mean hot like, hey, we got to get the Indigo Girls here. Nobody said that in a million years. So they get them and they have to cook for them. But then again, like I said, they got to throw it to the chefs. And this one chef goes, oh, to have the Indigo Girls is amazing. I remember growing up and all the people in high school would dance to their songs all the time. It was so great. No, that was the worst attempt I've ever heard. At least Art Smith knew 2 names of Indigo Girls songs. But for you to say, I remember in high school when everybody would dance to the Indigo Girls, that never happened, ever. I wouldn't dance to the Indigo Girls if the 2 of them Old West style shot at my feet with revolvers. I would stand there indignant and go, you're going to have to kill me, Indigo Girls. I would stand there indignant. I was trying to say indignant with indigo in it, and I couldn't. But I would just stare at them and go, you're going to have to kill me. Honestly, I'm not dancing to you or your music or your gunshots. Don't get it. So the reason this all comes to light, folks, the reason I bring this up to you now is because last week, worlds collided as I watched Top Chef Masters, and they said, you're going to... big fucking Australian robot comes in, and he's like, right, here's a table with a bunch of ingredients that... can you tell me what these all have in common? And it was like chocolate and oysters and champagne and figs, and all the chefs are like, hey, that's sex stuff. They didn't say it. They were like, that's aphrodisiacs. And he's like, right, you've got to make some By the way, I don't think he's Crocodile Dundee, but that's the only Australian voice I can do. And by the way, barely. I'm barely doing an Australian voice. I may be doing Malcolm Young. That's literally who I sound like this way. Right, oi, oi. That's the only Australian guy I can do. All right. So, I can do Bon Scott. See? All right, well, I won't do it. I'll spare you. I'll spare you my Bon Scott. But I can do Malcolm. Oi, oi, oi. That's also Jocko from the Battery commercials. Remember that dude? Again, that's from the 80s. You guys, nobody remembers who that is. Jocko from the Battery. It was like this weird Energizer commercial, and they had a Australian rugby guy come in and scream at you. Like it was the weirdest commercial ad campaign. It'll surprise you! The Energizer! And you were supposed to buy batteries because this fucking albino asshole from Australia was screaming at you. And it's like, dude, I'll buy batteries because I need batteries. I don't need that guy. Like, I don't even know why batteries have commercials. It's the stupidest thing. If you need batteries, get them. Not 9 volts. We all know that. Nobody wants a battery with a hat on. But other batteries, certainly. Fucking 9 volt. All right, so. So what was I talking about? So, all right, he comes out. He's like, all right, we've got all these aphrodisiac foods, and we're going to go ahead. By the way, I don't know if I might sound like Watson from Sherlock Holmes or something. What do I, like, this is a hybrid accent. This is all I can do. Folks, again, I don't do accents, but this is as close as I can get. He's like, all right, these are aphrodisiacs, and there's chocolate and figs, and you're going to make a wonderful meal for one of the sexiest ladies in the world today. And the queen of burlesque herself, Dita Von Teese. No. Yes.
Oh, my God.
And again, look.
Oh, my God.
As much as I denigrated the Indigo Girls 5 minutes ago.
Oh, my God. How horrible.
They look like fucking Aerosmith compared to Dita Von Teese in the fame department, okay? Because they made it sound like she was this, again, they called her the undisputed queen of burlesque, Dita Von Teese. And then, of course, they have to go to the chefs who have to pretend they know who the fuck this person is. So they're like, Dita Von Teese, she's very sexy. I can't wait to make some sexy foods for this sexy lady named Dita Von Teese. Like, because they have no idea. They don't know who the fuck she is.
Oh, my God.
So they have to cook and do their thing. And so then they go in the other room where the Australian guy is, and he's like, hello, Dita. And he's talking to her. And folks, if you don't know anything about Dita Von Teese, she is clear. First of all, she's a burlesque chick. All right. She's got like a 6-inch waist. Literally, she cinches it up with she wears the tweakedaudio.com/40 cockring watches. She wears one around her waist. That's how tiny she is. It's not even an hourglass figure. It looks like 2 funnels balanced on top of one another. So she sold her rib cage as a child. I mean, like, literally, there's nothing there. Her waist, everything is gone. No internal organs whatsoever. She's just full of bullshit. That's all she's got inside of her. And they're able to squeeze it into this tiny compartment. But she is the ultimate. And she used to be married to Marilyn Manson. Not married. I don't know if they dated or whatever the fuck. I don't know. They were together for a long time. So think about that, folks. Because someone said something about that on the show. They were like, I know she used to be married to Marilyn Manson, so she must appreciate. And I'm just like, what? Don't even finish that sentence. Don't even finish that sentence. You might as well just say she likes dirty cocks and makeup. I mean, honestly, if you're going to say she was married to Marilyn Manson, she likes fake stage blood. That's it. I mean, what else could you say? And screaming. So the Australian dude goes in the room and he's with Dita Von Teese. And, dudes, I can't even... Like, she shouldn't even have a body. She should just have a head balanced on top of the word poser. Like, it should just be P-O-S-E-U-R with feet. Like, I mean, she is just this affected idiot who's just, she can't move because she's so stitched into her clothing. She looks like a fucking real doll. And then she had so much foundation on her face, I thought they were going to build a house on it. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. So, and then of course they try to talk to her, and she does all these. She has this really weird, affected, clipped way of speaking. The reason why though is again she has so much makeup on her face she can barely move her mouth. That's why Marilyn Manson got rid of her, because she couldn't suck his cock anymore because she couldn't open her mouth past this. Oh, like a tiny. Her mouth looks like a spaghetti-o. Holy shit! Open your mouth and talk. Jesus Christ. I know you'll crack your face and it'll come crumbling down like the fucking towers on 9/11, but holy shit. Say a word for once in your life. So she's trying to talk, and she's making all these horrible jokes about, like, you know, sliding, the oyster slid down her throat and it got her excited and made her tingle. And the worst part of it is maybe she's sexy. All right, maybe. I found her to be kind of like really fucking fake and weird. I mean, sure, she's hot and you'd bang the shit out of her. But I also, at the same time, though, I think once you got her naked and you put like 2 thrusts into her, she'd break in half. I mean, like, she's this tiny wedding cake figure, and it's just this precarious waist. It doesn't even look right. She just looks fucking weird to me. And again, like I said, the spaghetti-o mouth. Oh, it does it all. It's just, I'm not a fan. But whenever I saw her talk, it just reminded me of all of the people. Like, I love Lily, and I love her show, and I'm friends with her friends. But then when you go to the Monday Night Teas, it's not even really about her friends or the people in the show. It's the crowd. Like, it's those fucking Zoot Suit Riot, fedora wearing, chain on a belt motherfuckers who just, you're like, man, what are you doing here? And like, they walk up to the bar and they're like, just give me something orange. Like, that kind of bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, they don't want a real drink. They want something that looks like it could be a drink that you would see in a movie somewhere. Just that fucking weird, fake, crazy. And again, I'm probably overreacting because I don't drink and I don't do anything. I'm just a fat idiot. That's fine. We get that. But I see these people and I don't understand that life. I don't understand that lifestyle. I don't understand that weird, poserish fucking people. You don't walk in a boa. Nobody wears a boa to a real place. If you're in the show, fine. You got a boa. But people who come in wearing a boa, holy shit. And look, by the way, let's go ahead and get this out of the way. Whenever I see those, like, you know, the bows, like the stockings tattooed, the bows on the thighs with the line all the way back down. Dude. Like, I just want to tackle that person and bury my face in their ass for a week. I mean, I swear to God, it probably does. It probably does. But when I see that look with the weird pink bows tattooed on the back of their thighs and the line running all the way back down to the fucking ankles, oh, dudes, forget about it. Forget about it. I will fucking scuba mask the shit out of you. I will, by the time I'm finished, those bows will meet. Like, it won't even be, like, by the time I'm finished, those bows will be up around your ass cheeks touching. Like, they won't even be on your thighs anymore. I will have gone so deep into your ass over and over for so long that the bows would have just climbed up to the top and just met right at the beginning. Oh my God. I just can't even. All right. How did I get into this? Why did I even get into this? Because of fucking Dita with her spaghetti-o mouth. It just freaked me out. And you know her, right? Haven't you met her?
I've met her several times, yeah.
Is she as freaky and weird in person as she is when I see her on shows?
She's very shy.
Shy? Fuck shy. She's not really shy. Bullshit. That's just a bullshit act.
She's a very shy, soft-spoken person.
Sure she is. That's why she's banging fucking an Antichrist superstar. Come on. I'm drinking now. God damn it. And look, folks, let me take back everything I've said for the first 20 minutes of the show. I'm sure everyone is delightful. I'm sure everyone is lovely and everyone is great and I'm a jerk. I get that, all right? We all understand that. Where are we at in the show? 22. So, you know, from now on, folks, when you listen to the show, just know that the first 22 minutes is always bullshit. And I'm going to disavow it. Right now, for the last 5 years, the last 4.5 years, I'm going to disavow anything I've ever spoken about in the first 20 minutes. Go back and listen. If you ever hear the first 20 minutes of a show, just go, yeah, he doesn't believe this, any of it. It's all just fucking nonsense. Because I don't know what to do. I'm sitting here, I have no idea, you know, because again, this is kind of created out of thin air, and Lily will point at me, and I just talk about whatever the fuck comes into my brain. So just please know that the first 20 minutes is always fluff. No one knows. I don't stand by any of it. I don't have any convictions. I don't stand behind anything that I've said in the first 20 minutes of any podcast I've ever been on. So go ahead and listen back and tell. And you know what? That'll be a fun game. Go listen back to the first 20 minutes of every episode and tell me the things that are false. Tell me the things that I've said that I can then go, no, I didn't mean that. If you want to know the things that I really mean, folks, you know what? Fast forward 20 minutes. Every week from now on, fast forward 25 minutes into the show and then go, here's the meat of the matter. This is the thing that he knows about. These are the things that are absolutely true. The first 25 minutes, not true. But after that, 25 minutes on, truth. Oh my God, so much truth. You guys can't handle the truth. All right. Or perhaps you can. That's why you fast forwarded. Oh my God, what if someone actually does that already? Then they miss the first 20 minutes, and now all they're hearing is their own validation. Like right now, they skipped the first 20 minutes, and they went, oh my God, he's right. He's talking about the thing that I do. Write me a letter if you do that. All right. No, don't. I don't want to know. That'd be harmful. That would hurt me inside. It's like what happens to poor Mark. Everybody writes Mark Maron on Twitter. Look, I like Mark Maron, and I don't understand why he fights with ghosts on Twitter. He does it all the time. He'll engage trolls, and then he even goes, why am I engaging trolls? But it's actually pretty funny to read because he doesn't fuck around. Like, I mean, I'll get somebody who's shitty to me or whatever on Facebook, and I might write something to them that's kind of smart-assy, but in my head, I'm like, I don't fight with ghosts. Mark Maron is a ghost buster. Like, he doesn't even... He'll cross the streams on your ass and not even fucking think twice. It's brutal. On Twitter, he's just like, fuck you, cunt, unfollow. I'm like, oh my God. And I guess that's what you can do when you've got, and by the way, I should say this, when you've got over 100,000 followers, he's got to be hearing a bunch of bullshit in his feed. You know what I mean? Because I see it all the time. Twitter, all right, look. I used to think Twitter was nonsense. I was like, whatever the fuck. And then I joined, and I'm addicted to it. Like, I can't. I think it is one of the greatest innovations of our lifetime. It is instant news. Whether it's true or not is for you to decide and parse out. But it is instant. The fact that you can, and it's funny, I went to, I talked about this. When I worked in San Francisco, I went out with our friends Jason and Lily and Toby and then their family. Like, I think someone's brother and his, no, it might have been her sister and a boyfriend or her brother and a girlfriend. What, say it again? Who cares? You know what? This belongs in the first 20 minutes of the show because this isn't true. None of this is true. But you could say, who cares about everything I do, Lily?
You're like brother, sister. It's like, it's not a relevant issue.
Because, but you do understand, I'm not talking to anyone, right? So I have to sound things out. Well, I'm talking to you now, but when I'm talking, I'm trying to sound things out so it makes sense to me in my head. This is a one-way conversation. So I have to try to land at a spot that I'm comfortable with. So if I'm trying to parse who is there, you got to give me that. If you applied who cares to this show, I would never do it. If you were ever to apply the concept of who cares, I would never sit down at this microphone. Because nothing I say is of import to anyone whatsoever. Everything I say is fluff and nonsense, and it's just a snowball rolling downhill. There's nothing I bring that has any sort of weight or impact in anyone's life. So I have to sit here and talk about who is there and try to figure it out on the fly. You act like I have a script where I wrote brother, sister, brother. I don't. I'm trying to genuinely figure it out in my brain. I appreciate you for trying to keep me on the straight and narrow, and you are the audience. Certainly you are the surrogate audience, but let them flip me, okay? You know what I mean? Let them decide who cares. I'll let them figure it out. Because, as far as I'm concerned, you care, everybody cares. Jesus Christ. I'm talking alone here, so I'm trying to figure out who was at the table. I didn't go around and say what everybody ordered. I'm sure I did. And go back, you know what? Go listen to the San Francisco show. I'm sure I covered in depth what everybody ate for fucking breakfast. But right now, the point is, it was me, Lily, Toby, and Jason, and then some other people who were relatives of some sort. Brothers, sisters, I don't fucking know what they were. But I have to let the listener know that there were other people there because they're certainly important to the story. Which isn't really a story, it's just an anecdote. And it's an anecdote that I actually did in year 4. I don't even know why I'm repeating it. Because as Lily just said to all of you, who cares, right? Don't be sorry, you're probably right. But I mean, but unfortunately, that's what we've got. That's what we have here. We have me talking, trying to remember things on the fly. And so you're going to get me going, brother, sister. You're going to have me taking some sort of weird roll call in the middle of space. I mean, I understand you're trying to keep me, centered. Why was I even talking about those people? What the fuck? You know what? Who cares?
You're listening to The 40-Year-Old Boy, and later, Andrew Bennett Eats an Ant Farm.
Wait, I think I know something. I know this one. I think I do, right? A little ditty about Seth and Brandy, 2
2 American kids out of Florida who are broke thanks to me.
I guess that counts.
I should probably catch you folks up on what's been happening in my life. That's fun to say. In my life. There's a Beatles song, right? In my life. All right. So as we left the House of Schmidt last week, there was a problem. I had special house guests who were not invited. Bugs, bed bugs. And where did I leave you guys last week? Fernando came to spray. Was it Fernando? It was Fernando. Because our friend Sarah J wrote me and she said, "Do you hear the bugs, Fernando?" or something like that on Twitter. And I was like, "Oh, ABBA." And actually, by the way, this week we had to have somebody come in and spray for ABBA. I couldn't even say it. God damn it. Those would be much more effective if I could actually say them as a joke. Because I was in bed and I heard this weird faint money, money, money. And I'm like, oh my God, we have ABBA. We got to get a fucking exterminator at her immediately. Quick, spray for Swedes. So almost as bad as bedbugs ABBA, quite frankly, because it's very difficult to get rid of ABBA. Holy shit. Anyway, I couldn't believe it. I'm in my house and I heard it. I'm just like, oh, Mamma Mia, we've got ABBA. I saw that play. I bought tickets to bring my wife to that once. All right, so, folks. The bugs were sprayed for last week, and then we were fixing our house, trying to get things squared away. Well, all right, I'll tell you this. He came in and he sprayed the house for bugs, and then Karen and I were trying to figure out what we were going to do for sleep. We don't know where we're going to sleep. So Lily had offered me an air mattress, and I wasn't sure if I was going to take it. So I didn't take it last week when I left the house. And I went home after the podcast, and Karen was not home. And last week's show was long, as you know, and I didn't get out of here until late, like midnight. I think I left Lily's apartment last week. So I walked outside, went home, and I got in my house, and there was no Karen, which was weird because the thing is she's supposed to be sleeping in the living room. All right, that's why I knew there was no Karen. When I walked in, she wasn't there, and then I'm like, did she go get a hotel, or maybe she's staying with a friend? I mean, I have no idea. So I walked in, and I turned the lights on, and I look around, and I see her purse is on her desk. So, all right, now I'm worried because she wouldn't leave without her purse. Because sometimes, I should say this, she'll go out to the patio and smoke. As I've mentioned, there's like a smoking area, a smoking ghetto. So I'm like, well, maybe she's out there having a cigarette. But it's late. It was like 12. I didn't get home until 12:45. But if she's out smoking at 12:45, I mean, which sort of makes sense because she'd be tossing and turning because she's sleeping in the chair. She's not used to sleeping in the chair, and I am. But I will tell you this, the chair is not made up. There's no blanket. There's no, it's not aligned where it looked like anybody was sleeping in it. So I knew she hadn't been sleeping in the chair. Her purse was there. Folks, listen to me. It's very important that you gather all these clues to find out. These are snooze clues because I don't know where she's sleeping. I don't know what the fuck happened to her. So right now we're all on snooze clues. So I see the purse, but then I think she's out at the smoking ghetto, but then I realize that she's probably not. And so I hear in the bedroom, the door is kind of half open, half closed, and the air conditioning is on in the bedroom. So I look in the bedroom, and like I said, all of our stuff is in the center of the room, the boxes of things, and then the mattress and the box spring are leaning up against the wall because I can't get rid of those yet. I called the city, and they said, well, we'll come pick it up on Tuesday of next week. So I have to put it out on the curb on Monday night, which was a couple days ago. So they're still in my room. So I don't even want to go in the room because as far as I'm concerned, there's still bugs. If the mattress and the box spring are there, there's still bugs. We only saw 2 bugs, but I don't give a fuck. Just the mere ghost of bugs, anything that's in there, I want nothing to do with it. So I peer into the bedroom, and our stuff's in the center of the room, and the air conditioning is on, and it wasn't on when I had left. And my eyes start to adjust to the dark. I look, and I see like a big white lump. Just like and I'm like, why is that there? Because it's in my closet. All right. You know how there's walk-in closets. We don't have those. We have those slidey closets, and it's long. It's like the full length of the room almost. And I look, and I see a white lump, and I turn the light on, and there's Karen sleeping in the closet like it's a clubhouse. And she's got the blankets and she's lying on the floor, all tucked in with the air blowing in the room. And I was weirded out that she was in the closet like fucking Martin, you know what I mean? Which, by the way, that's a movie, look it up. But she's all tucked in there. And I didn't want to wake her up and go, what are you doing? You know what I mean? And plus it's late. She's got to work in the morning. So I just left her. I was like, all right. And because normally I would walk in and kiss somebody goodnight, but man, fucking bugs. That's not happening in this closet. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to go in there and give her a kiss, and then something's going to tackle me and push me in the closet and close the door, and then we're both in there trapped by the bugs. So I figured one of us has to stay outside where the phones are. I have to stay somewhere where there's a lifeline. So if she screams, I can immediately call 911. So I leave her there, and I turn the light out, and I engage myself in the things that I do at night. That sounds ominous. I go on the internet. That's what I do because it's Wednesday night, so it's after the podcast. I've got to write an email blast. I got to do all my Facebook shit. So I sit down, do all that. She wakes up in the morning, and I'm like, "What did you do? Why are you in the closet? Why are you even in the bedroom? You know you're not supposed to be in the bedroom, right?" You know that's where the bugs are, right? And they just sprayed in there, and everybody was supposed to. And she's like, "No, it's been a day. It's fine." I go, "I don't think so," because they said it would be okay in 6 hours. I don't give a fuck. I don't want to be in there. We should not be in there until everything is ready to go, and I don't know when that's going to be. I'm warning you now. I'm not sure when, if I'm ever, or if I should say when or if I'm ever going back in the bedroom to live. I don't know. I need to get through and she's like, well, I'm fine with it. And I'm like, yes, you're fine with it because you don't give a fuck. All right. You keep putting our stuff on the bags that haven't been contaminated or decontaminated. You don't give a shit. You're living your life like everything's fine and it's not fucking fine. Folks, I know because I'm a crazy person and I know I've heard that from you. You're just like, because some of you are like, dude, calm down, or dude, I feel your pain, or dude, bugs are awful, or dude, I haven't gotten to listen to the show yet. I don't know why I included that last guy in there, but why not? But again, I don't give a fuck what you think. No offense, but I don't. This is how I feel, and this is how I am. And I don't want to be in the bedroom. I don't want anything in there, and I don't want my clean clothes next to a bed because we still got to cook shit in the sun. I mean, we've been trying to do all that, and then at this point in time, all of our laundry has still not been done. It's still sitting in the house in bags, so we haven't decontaminated it yet. It's still sitting there. But unfortunately, she works in town and I work at night, which gives us from 6 until 7 to work this out. I will give a free download set to the person who knows what song that is. All right. Free download set of your choice. And don't Google the lyrics. Well, you will. I mean, this is cheating. That offers off the table. You cheating bastards. I know right now you're Googling it and going, ha, I know what it is. Free download set. No. All right. No, I should. I said I would. Okay. Well, maybe they've forgotten what it is by now. Well, of course they can rewind it. This isn't live. Maybe you forgot it. Shit. All right. So, all right. Whatever. That's fine. Free download set if you know what song that is. So I tell her, I go, you don't care about this stuff, and she's like, no, I do. That's fine. So she goes to work, and I live my life on Thursday, and then I had a thing last Thursday. Where I had to be in Redondo Beach in the morning. It was so funny. All right, look, I'll just tell you this. Whatever, I'll tell you later. So I had a thing. So then I come home and I sleep in the chair, and then she comes back, and she comes home and she says, I have a problem. And I said, what is it? And she shows me, she's broken out in like weird hives from her face all the way down to her ankle on her right-hand side of her body. Because she was lying on the carpet that was filled with bug poison. And her skin had a reaction to it. And at first she was like, she thought she was bitten. She was like, yeah, I thought I had bites again. And she goes, but no, look. And she was red. It wasn't swollen or anything really. And it wasn't, we knew because we see her every day. So I was like, yeah, something's up. Because you know how you will, you'll like lean on your arm and you'll get that line, or you'll get red lines from your shirt or something. Well, that's what it looked like, but it was all the way down her fucking leg and her arm and her face because she was laying on the rug that had been sprayed with bug poison. And she goes, yeah, I probably shouldn't have laid on the floor. I go, yeah, probably you shouldn't have. Probably not. I didn't do that. I told you so her because, again, she's been poisoned. Half of her body has been poisoned. But it made me just go, don't you see now why you should take some fucking precaution? Why you should think that, because again, her complete disregard for precaution has led me to be really angry for the past few days anyway. But now you see, it's manifested itself on your, in a poison rash that you now carry. And she's like, well, I guess I won't sleep on the floor anymore. I'm like, yeah, I guess you won't. So I don't know what we're going to do. I think I'm going to borrow Lily's air mattress because I looked into buying an air mattress. I looked into buying a bed, but I'm not ready to put a fucking bed in that room just yet because we haven't even been in there. Like we might have to put an air mattress in there and then sleep for a while just to see if anything comes out of the fucking woodwork. Literally. Like I wish that wasn't even literally, but it is. We had to go to the laundromat and we had to do all of our clothes. And I'm talking every stitch of clothing, everything that we own. Like I had a barong that I had to wear in a Filipino wedding a few years ago. I had that. We had to go ahead and throw that in there in the dryer. And you have to cook everything and fold it all and fucking take it all. And then the thing is, think about the fact that all of your clothes, we had to do them all. We have nowhere to put them. So they're back in garbage bags. They're just back in different garbage bags. So now my house is still filled with clothes in garbage bags. Because we can't decide what to do with the room. We finally threw away the mattress and the box spring and carried those. Oh, and by the way, I confronted Lou, my neighbor. I just, because I had to, because I'm not going to be pigeonholed as being fucking filthy. It's not going to happen. So he comes walking up to me and he's like, hey, how you doing? I said, hey, I got to talk to you. I said, I don't have roaches. He goes, oh, I understand. And I go, no, you don't understand because you were in front of my house and you told the exterminator not to send the fucking roaches over to your apartment. I don't have roaches. I've lived here 15 years. I haven't seen a fucking bug. And, to his credit, he did not back down or shrink. He actually put down the bag he was carrying because I think he thought we were going to go round and round. And he goes, no, you don't understand. Here's what I'm telling you. I'm just telling the exterminator. I was making a joke because, I have a place of work and the place next door has mice. And they'll have an exterminator in and they'll send the mice over to my place. And then I'll get an exterminator and send the mice over to his place. It's a constant race. So I just know that if you have fucking roaches and you're going to spray, they're going to come over to my house. I go, I don't have roaches. I'm telling you that. And he goes, okay, I understand. Well, it's all good. I understand. You're clean. I go, I'm not dirty. I'm not filthy. I don't have a dirty house. I've lived there 15 years. I haven't had a fucking bug in it. What I have in there is a bed bug problem. It's not even. I saw 2 of them. And I need to make sure they're fucking out of my house. He's like, I understand. It's fine. It's okay. It's no problem. It's okay. And he just walked away because he wanted nothing more to do with me because he saw my wild-eyed expression that I was ready to argue this to the fucking death. Because I will not be looked upon as like fucking filthy. I'm not that person. So we're getting back together. We did all of our clothes, and now they're sitting there in bags because we can't. We have to do the room. We have to put everything. We have to sort through the boxes, and then we got to figure out what we're going to sleep on. But Karen still goes in there. Like I don't even get it because I'll be. That's the problem is I sleep during the day, so she'll come home from work and I'm asleep in the chair. And on the weekend, it was worse. Like she goes in the bedroom and closes the door, and she just watches TV in the bedroom, sitting on the floor, wrapped up in a blanket. I'm like, why are you bringing the blankets in the room? It's fine in there. No, it's not fine in there. You were covered in a fucking rash of poison. So I'm not the same. That's all. I'm not the same. I'm not back to normal. Nothing's back to normal. I'm still digging my clothes out of fucking garbage bags and trying to throw those on and washing those and figuring it out. And I got to travel this weekend, maybe. I'll get to that in a second. But yeah, so there you go. Because people have asked, they're like, how are you, and you were all very nice. And you all reached out and you're like, oh my gosh, that's awful. And some people have stories of the same thing happening to them. And even worse now is like people send me, first of all, you'll send me pictures of bed bugs. Thank you, by the way, for that. That's always very lovely. People on Twitter will send me these up close pictures. Max made a fucking meme picture with a bed bug on my head. I'm like, yeah, great, thanks. Well, it's funny because when he did the artwork last week, he was like, well, what do you want? And we were speculating. And I said, well, I want more horrifying than anything. I go, because that's the whole thing. And so he made a horrifying painting. So yeah, right now I don't know what's happening. It's still kind of up in the air, but you guys have been, you were nice about it. But like I said, you're sending me pictures of bugs and experiences. And then people send me, someone put up an article that in Charlotte, North Carolina, where they're having the fucking Democratic National Convention, they have a bed bug outbreak at like 8 hotels. It's not just me. That's the thing is it's happening all over the fucking place. And even worse, dude, someone sent me an address for something called bedbugregistry.com. So, because I believe me, I had Googled bed bug and I found all these information about bed bugs and all that, how to fight them and, what happens. Well, bedbugregistry.com is like the sex offender registry.com where you can like put in your address and see how many sex offenders live around you.
Oh.
You've never done that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, bedbugregistry.com is you can put in your address and see who around you had bed bugs. And sure enough, man, there's like 10 apartments around my apartment that had bed bugs, or 10 buildings, not just apartments, buildings. And then I started to put in addresses of hotels where I'd been. And first of all, the Delta Chelsea in Toronto did not come up, which was really surprising. However, it says right on bedbugregistry.com, if you put in a city, it says Toronto is the bedbug capital of Canada. Like, so congratulations, Toronto. Good for you guys. I don't know if I'm coming back. That Montreal page is looking pretty good. So yeah, I find all these. So I actually ran the hotels that I'm supposed to be staying in the next few weeks because I'm staying in a hotel in Oregon, and then I'm staying in 2 hotels in Wisconsin. I still don't have a Philadelphia hotel, but thankfully none of these hotels came up. But it didn't stop me from putting in the address and then looking around. Like, a mile away, there's another hotel in Milwaukee, and you go and dudes. Any apartment. So now I'm hooked now. Now I'm reading the apartments around my house. There's these people who live on the 9th floor, and they're like, yeah, our neighbor had bed bugs, and then they came into our place, and it turns out the 7th, 8th floor have them too, and that's where they came from, and now they're in the 1st floor. So this entire building is infested with bed bugs, because that's what I'm trying to tell you folks. They travel and they multiply and they don't fuck around. You know what I mean? They're not like lollygagging and going, oh, well, we found one guy to eat blood. No, they want assorted blood. They like to go eat in different places. So they go in different, and they multiply, and there's so many of them. Jesus Christ, I'm still freaked out about it. I need to stop fucking talking about it. So I'm hoping that my place is clear. That's all I'm hoping. But now when I go on the road, I started to read all these fucking weird travel things because I still have the same suitcases, and I've cooked them in the sun 3 different times. So I've got to hope that there's nothing in them. But now when I go on the road, they're like, you have to put your stuff right in the bathroom. Like I have to store my luggage. My buddy Mark, who's a pilot, and he travels all over. He goes, my deathly fear is bringing them home on my travels. He goes, so my shit goes right into the bathroom, right into the bathtub. That's where I keep my luggage. He goes, don't even use, because I read, they said, everybody was like, don't put your luggage on the bed. Because that's what I do. I'll get a room and there's usually 2 beds. One bed is the one that I sleep in and I sit in and I watch TV in and I work in, and then the other bed is the one where I keep all my stuff. Like I keep my bags and whatever the fuck. Well, they said don't ever put your stuff on a bed. They said you should put it on a luggage rack. That weird metal fucking fold out thing. So Mark writes me, he's like, do not use the luggage rack. Because anybody with bed bugs will use the luggage rack, and then the bugs get into the rack. And then when you put your bag on there, then they get into your bag. He's like, the only safe place, if there's a safe place, is the bathroom. You have to put your stuff in the bathroom because they don't, that they're not looking for, they don't like water and all that bullshit. So I Googled it and I looked, and he's right. They said you should put your suitcase in the bathtub when you go on the fucking road. I'm just like, what happened to this planet? That we now have to put our fucking luggage in the bathroom. And so does that mean I've got to put my books and everything in the bathroom? And then do I have to now, is that now my headquarters when I fucking go to the hotel? Like they said, the first thing you should do is search your bed and look through the seams and look for everything. And I'm like, motherfucker, why can't you fucking fix it? Just fix it. Kill all these bugs, Jesus. What's wrong with you? Nobody likes these fucking bugs. You have a plant that's falling. It's like dying. And so leaves keep falling off it. Yeah, Lily has lilies, stargazers, and they're up on the countertop behind her. And while I've been sitting here, 3 different leaves have fallen off. But then when they leave, I just see motion out of the corner of my eye. So I figure the bugs are here to get me. So I'm talking, and I wheel my head, and I look past her, and she looks at me like, calm down. And then she turns her head because she doesn't know what the fuck's behind her because I'm looking over her shoulder at movement. And she's just like, what? Because, again, I'm jumpy, folks. Because I've got to live my life out of the bathroom like a fucking animal. I have to go in. And then they said also, when you travel, when you come home, you should immediately go to the laundry room and put all of your clothes in the dryer and cook the shit out of them in the dryer. And I should tell you this, that's not good for me because I'm fat. So my clothes are all going to fucking shrink. I can't be putting, because there are clothes that I wash and I don't dry. There are shirts I've never dried, and there are shirts that are dry clean only. But they're saying it doesn't matter. You should put all of your stuff in the goddamn washer. And if not in the washer, you certainly have to dry everything. You have to put everything in there on the highest heat for like half an hour. And again, like I said, my shit shrinks. So now I'm going to be wearing ill-fitting clothing because of these fucking bugs. So now, not only are they biting me in my sleep, not only are they invading my brain, but now I'm going to be some big fucking baby Huey-looking motherfucker who can't wear really nice clothes or at least decent clothes that fit because I got to dry the shit out of them to make sure these motherfuckers don't come hitchhiking into my goddamn place. Fuck them. See, this is where they get you. They don't only get you in your sleep, they don't only live in your books and get in your mind, but now they affect your fashion sense. Jesus Christ. Some guy wrote me and he's like, or he wrote on my Facebook wall, I think, and he said that his dad is a dry cleaner, and it is such a problem that they had to fly to New York to take classes and learn how to dispose of bedbug clothing. Like they have to learn how to deal with bedbug clothing that people bring in. And they told them in this class that the sun is the way to do it, to put all the clothes in bags and put it out in the fucking sun. So New York, I don't know what the fuck you're going to do in the winter, but apparently the bedbugs will overtake you. Like it'll be like that, what was that fucking movie where like New York froze over, or John Cusack had to fly a plane into an iceberg? What the fuck was that movie? 2012? Is that what it was called? Yeah. Well, instead of like an iceberg, it's going to be a bugberg. Like I said last week, it's just going to fucking dock, and these bugs are going to take over your fucking buildings, and you won't have the sun to help you. And who are you going to call then? Superman? Like if Superman, think about it. If Superman was alive, could we make him kill all the bugs? You know what I mean? Like, because I mean, seriously, because he's like, all right, because he's not busy all the fucking time. He's sometimes he's working at the fucking newspaper and all that bullshit. So I mean, if you got enough time to go on a date with Lois Lane, go kill all the bugs right now, because that's the thing he should do. He's got heat vision. He should get up like way up in the space in the sky and just heat vision the shit out of the country and kill all the goddamn bugs. That's what he should do. Like that was the thing, is Superman usually fights these villains who are trying to conquer the world, but could he theoretically murder bedbugs? Like if Superman existed, could you say to him, dude, you got to kill all the bedbugs in the world? Could he do it? Would he do it? Would he look at that as a betrayal of a species because he's only a guest on this planet? But if you're a guest on this planet, don't you worry about bringing bedbugs back to Krypton when you finally go back? You son of a bitch! Kill these bugs, Superman! All right. It's funny. That's the only reason I want Superman to exist. I don't give a fuck about world peace. I don't give a fuck about him, solving wars or making everybody work well together. I want him to kill all the bedbugs. And then I want him to disguise himself and get a job as a baseball player and like throw a 180-mile-an-hour fastball and freak everybody out. God damn you, Superman! You selfish bastard! Kill these bugs. All right, so that's where I'm at, folks. I'm up in the air. I'm still weirding out. I'm still not sleeping much. Still sleep like 3-4 hours a night at a time. I will say this: I passed out one day and I slept like 9 hours. It was awesome. Like I sat down in this chair, and it's funny because I keep saying that I can sleep anywhere. I've mentioned that to you guys, and I'm really good at sleeping on planes and trains and buses, and apparently I'm green eggs and ham. That's who I am. Me and Sam I am are sleeping on a plane. When we could, we on a train, we would. But sleeping at home now with bugs, fuck that. I can't do it. Except for one time I sat down in the chair and I fucking crashed out for like 9 hours. But now, since then, I sit down in the chair to sleep and I get like 3 hours and I wake up, 2 hours and I wake up. And you know what? This is weird too. I'm starting to dream now. When I was sleeping in bed, I didn't dream. And I in my head, I was wondering if that was because I slept during the day and maybe you don't dream during the day. I couldn't figure out why. But now that I'm sitting in a chair sleeping, I dream all the fucking time. It's crazy. And sit back, because I'm going to spend the next 45 minutes telling you about my dreams. How awful would that be? Oh my God, there's nothing worse. Hey, I had a dream last night. Literally, the only time you will ever see me run in my life is if someone says that phrase to me. Hey, I had a dream last night. You just see me sprint in the other fucking direction. I don't give a shit about you or your dream. And I'll listen to my wife's dreams because you have to. When you get married, it's actually in the vows. It's like, to love and cherish and honor and listen to their fucking dreams. It's like right in there because you can't just say, oh, look, I don't want to hear about your bullshit dreams. You have to pretend to be interested. Because then, I will tell you this, because it comes in handy, because then when bugs invade your home and you're forced to sleep in a chair and you start dreaming again, then you can dump all your dreams on your wife. And here's this shitty dream. All right, I'll tell you this, because this caused a problem, and I don't know why it caused a well, whatever. Fuck. Never mind. I'm not even getting into that. I'm not. No, you don't. You don't. I don't. Forget it. It's just, I love my wife. That's great. I don't need to get into a fucking fight. But yeah, so now I'm dreaming. But it's funny. I'm sure she's dreaming laying in a pile of poison too. I'm sure that made her go, "Hey, I had a dream last night about sleeping in poison and bugs were crawling all over me." Yes, that's not a dream. That was real fucking life. Get out of the closet. All right, so I'm trying to put my life back together is the point. It's not working, but I'm still sort of trying to do it. But I'm catnapping. Who cares? Nobody cares. Everybody cares. You care. So I tell you people these things, so you have a general sense of where I'm at and what I'm doing. Because let's take a look at the season as a whole so far. This is year 5. I think this is episode 22, possibly. Could be room 222, episode 222 with Karen Valentine. She's here. Oh, Karen Valentine, so hot when I was a kid. She was Valerie Bertinelli before Valerie Bertinelli showed up. God damn it, Karen Carpenter was cute. Karen Carpenter, Kim Valentine, Karen Valentine, Kim Valentine. Kim Valentine's in The Breeders, right? Speaking of, Bob Mold's album just came out yesterday, and I cannot wait to have it. Oh my God, Bob Mold. All right, so, what was I saying? Tell me, folks, help me. I really don't know what I was saying because I started talking about Karen Valentine for no reason. But how did I get to Karen Valentine?
Just talking about your week. That's what you were saying was your week.
But I said, but how did I say? Because the only thing I would say about Karen Valentine is she was in room 222. So why did I say 222? 22. Oh man, this is horrible. Should we take all this out? This is like bad. Maybe no, fuck. I got to figure it out. We got to go backwards. Karen Valentine. Because I said 22. I said I'm putting my life back together, right? But why did I say 22? God damn it! There was a reason I said 22. No one cares. Everybody cares. All right. Well, folks, I'll just tell you. Oh, this is episode 22. Ha ha ha! Yeah! All right, God damn it! High five right now. Seriously, up top. Yeah, that was worth it. That was worth it. Not worth it at all. Holy shit! None of this is worth it. The previous 22 episodes weren't worth that moment. Yes, they were. Actually, I will say the previous 22 episodes built up to this goddamn moment. This is the pinnacle. It reigns supreme, and I'm notorious. I'll crush it like a jelly bean. Holy shit, LL Cool J's back. He was here a week ago. All right, so.
Oh, my God.
Or no, 2 weeks ago. Was he here 2 weeks ago? He was here? I don't know. Public Enemy was here. They were all here. All of our friends. What if they were like a cast of characters? Hey, like the King of Cartoons on Pee Wee Herman? I had LL Cool J stop by the podcast periodically. Hey, Mike. Hey, I'm not a homeless guy. Don't beat me up in your kitchen. All right, so, folks. So episode 22 of year 5. That's what we were talking about. When this show started, well, not when the show started, Jesus Christ. Oh my God, how awful was that? When this show started, it all comes together because the first episode, folks, that I ever did, 22 minutes. Yeah, that's right. Numer fuckinology. I just threw that in the middle there for no reason. That actually might be wrong. It could be 21 minutes and like 40 seconds. I don't know. It's a story about Steve Perry that I had to get it out. That's true. I've told that story on here, right? About why I did that episode. Nobody cares. Yeah, fuck. Stop saying that. That's a weird placeholder for me. Everybody cares. Could be worse. That's my new placeholder because of last week. So, folks, putting my life back together. This is episode 22 of year 5. Now, if you recall, I have a goal every year during this show. And I try to strive for it. I try to make it happen. The one-man show was a goal in episode 3, or in year 3, we wanted to make that happen, and we finally did. I don't remember what the goal was in year 4. We wanted to do something. Was it just continue doing the one-man, or something? We had a plan or a goal. I don't recall. But we've always had a goal in this show where we're like, all right, we're going to make that happen, and then of course we don't, but we pretend that we did with a party. We have a big online party. Oh my God, it's so great. We invite over all the regulars. Me and LL Cool J are here. Public Enemy, he shows up. The guys from Albuquerque. Oh, hey, Mike. All right, that guy shows up. Maybe you should spider walk back to Albuquerque. Honestly, that's I never said anything funnier in my life. That's a lie. I say funny things every week. All right, so, folks, I said funny things this week. And I'm sure you missed them right now. You're going, where's the funny stuff, dick? All right, just rewind it. Rewind it earlier. Oh, and also, didn't I say the first 22 minutes of every show is not good? God, 22. Look at it. It's lurking. That's almost as good as 11-11. 11-11, 11-11, 11. Remember that? Remember that was a thing for us for a while? 11-11, 11-11, 11. And now 22. All right, which is double 11-11. Actually, 11 plus 11 is 22. Oh, my God. It all comes down. Dude, mind blown. Holy shit. I'm going to crawl into your closet and sleep. That is not a euphemism, by the way. That is absolutely not a euphemism. Don't get that twisted, folks. I really meant I'm going to climb into her closet and sleep. That sounds very very filthy if you think about it. All right, so, folks, this is episode 22 of Year 5. We have a goal every year where we're going to do something. Well, if you seem to recall about Year 5, there was a goal ahead in place, a goal ahead in mind. I sat down and I'm like, what can I possibly do? I don't know what to do with myself. What can I make happen? The goal, part of it, I will tell you, the first part of the goal was to get bedbugs. I went ahead and did that. Even before the first half of this season is over. Even before we're up to year 26, which would, of course, be the end of the first season. Or the first half of the season. God damn, there's like 30 episodes left of this show for this year. But you know what? I'll be honest, I didn't think I was going to get to 22. Like, I thought I'd be on crazy fumes. And I kind of am. I mean, I'm just talking about bugs for 9 days. But I told myself that there was a goal for year 5. You folks may remember this. This goal was to, I said I was going to be a fucking animal by the end of this year. I was going to lose weight. I was going to get into shape. I was going to become a different person and be the person that I'm supposed to be. Physically, anyway. Certainly I'm not going to do anything about the inside of me. That's unfixable. We know that, right? That can't be tampered with. That's like a Swiss fucking watch. But on the outside, it's more like Swiss chocolate. I mean, it's got to be fucking fixed. So I said, I'm going to be an animal. And part of that was I was going to start working with a trainer and start lifting and doing all those things and having a big change from episode 1 to episode 52 of year 5. Included in that was I was going to participate, courtesy of my friend Chris in Portland. She was taunting me every week via email. Hey, fatty, what are you going to do with this with your life? And I was horrified by it. She's a nice lady. We met. We had a nice dinner upstairs in Portland, or in Seattle. Did she not eat in Seattle or Portland? Seattle. She came to the Seattle show from Portland by herself, leaving her husband and kids in the car. That seems wrong. No, she actually came down, and she and I had dinner in Seattle. And even then she was taunting me. But then she's taunting me since then. Hey, fatty, what are you going to do with your life? So I said to shut her up. I'm going to do a year 5, and I'm going to become an animal. I'm going to change myself. I'm going to physically transform myself into the person that I want to be, physically anyway. Again, on the inside, can't fix it. So I decided I was going to go to Portland and involve myself in something called the Warrior Dash. Because she had kind of teased me about it and taunted me about it and written me about it and said, you should do that because you're a failure. And I was like, what? That seems weird. Don't you like me in my show? By the way, she never said these things. Please don't take these to heart. She did not do those things ever. She's very nice. But she was like, dude, you should do this Warrior Dash. And so I went, you know what? Fuck it. I'm doing this Warrior Dash. I'm going to go get a trainer. I'm going to work out with Richard, my old trainer. Well, actually, I wasn't going to go with Richard. I was going to go with these different people, and that didn't work out. I covered all this in the beginning of year 5. And then I started to go to the gym. I went with Richard, and I signed up, and I paid him a lot of money for a year's worth of training so I can go train with him and get ready and get into shape. And I knew all along, because again, I started this show, this is 22 weeks ago. I decided, you know what, fuck it. I've got that Warrior Dash in 22 weeks. I'll work out hard for these 5 months and get into shape. And then, it's 5.5 months of lifting. And I figured I would have transformed my body even by then for the Warrior Dash. And I was ready and excited and ready to do it. So as you know, I went to the gym and I started to work out. And I saw a guy with an open wound in the pool. That was fun. And then I also went and worked out. And then it turned out I wound up getting some sort of physical affliction that I'd prefer not to mention right now, but it begins with H. And which, by the way, I thought I had a hemorrhoid. Perhaps. That's how the bedbugs got smuggled into my house. Perhaps, somehow. They invaded me in my sleep when I was on the road, and they came in under cover of my ass. That's all. That's really, you want to fucking sober yourself up. Think of yourself traveling, and then think of bugs marching into your ass and forming like a weird cocoon on your ass, and then you come home and then they march out into your bed while you're asleep. Think about that, folks.
Oh my God.
Tell me again why I'm starting to dream. So I wound up getting the hemorrhoid, and I could not go to the gym. But then I was going and I started to do cardio, and I was doing 2 miles a day on the treadmill. And I was enjoying it. I was actually, well, I wasn't, let's put it this way. I was going and doing it, not enjoying it per se. Because here's the thing. When I go to the gym, I like to go and I'll work out with the trainer and then do cardio. And then I like to go into the hot tub and I like to go into the steam room. I kind of like 3 hours in the gym. I'm a luxurious gym goer. All right. I don't, because part of me wants to get it over with. But then when the workout and stuff's over with, I want to do the relaxing part in the steam room and I'll go in the steam room for an hour. Like, I mean, it's just, and just fucking, I'm a huge fan of the steam room. I'm a huge fan of well, I don't like the sauna because the sauna is, it's not hot enough for me, man. You got to crank that sauna the fuck up because they got the rocks and then you can put fucking, steam them or whatever the fuck. I don't care. Sauna's not hot enough. And it's a weird dry, like I have to sit as close to the rocks as I possibly can to get heat. And I'll actually hang my face over it because I want it to be hot. Because I like heat, folks. Steam room it's like a more of a wet heat, but I'll let you know what I love to do in the steam room? Breathe like really deep and get fucking hot steam into your lungs and cook yourself from the inside out, outside in. I got lost there for a second. Cook yourself from the inside out. Okay, I like to heat it up, folks. That's what I like to do. However, I think I've told this story before. When I went into the gym, there was a guy. I was in the steam room once. There was a guy who would come in with really wet hair, and he would hang his head over the steam vent and brush his hair over the vent while we were sitting there. There's gross fucking people in the gym, folks. So I had made it a point where I was like going to pay for this training and start to go working out. And then I got the hemorrhoid and I could not work out. And then I started to do the cardio. And then I strained an arch in my foot. And I was limping all over the place. And it also meant that I could not run. I mean, let's put it this way. I could have fought my way through it. But in my head, I'm just like, well, you shouldn't do that. Because then what if you're too injured to do the warrior dash? But what that really meant was, hey, you should stop going to the gym because you don't like it so much. So I kind of stopped. And I put it on hold. And I would try to make... And it was funny, Karen was still going. Like, she was going without me the whole time. And I wasn't going, and the weeks were piling up. And I would make appointments with my trainer, and then I would cancel them the morning of. And he was very nice about it. He said they were for in the afternoon, and he understood. Like, I will say this about Richard. He knows that you got to get your head right before you get the rest of you right. You know what I mean? And my head's not right because I work all night, and then I sleep in the daytime, and then I got to work out at like 4 in the afternoon, and I hate that schedule. I preferred much more getting up in the morning and going to work out at like 8 in the morning, and and again, I also like a luxurious thing where I hang in the gym for like 3 hours. But these are all ways to avoid doing it, right? I recognize that. These are all ways to avoid making myself do the things that I'm supposed to do. So I've told you guys that year 5 is about changing myself, and I had 22 weeks to work out, and right about halfway through that, once I strained the arch of my foot and I couldn't go to the gym anymore, and I could have gone to yoga classes because I looked at that. I wanted to go to yoga classes. There's all these things I wanted to do, but in my head I'm like, don't do that. Because here's why, folks. And I've alluded to this the past few weeks, and I've never gotten to discuss it. I've meant to, but then the army of bugs marched into my house and changed everything. But I made a decision like 2 months ago. And here's the thing. I should tell you this, and I think I've said this already. I could have still worked out. I could have gone and forced myself to go through it and pushed myself through. But in my head, I was just like, that's not good. What if you get injured? But that, again, just a way to keep me from going. I know I'm repeating myself because I don't want to say this. I know it sounds stupid. I'm avoiding telling you this because you're going to mock me, and that's fine. And I should be mocked for this. But hear me out. There's a method to this. There's a genius behind this madness. When I stopped going to the gym and didn't go, and then didn't even do cardio, this is about 7 weeks ago, I would say. I still had plenty of time. Like, I could have recovered in a week and still gone back to the gym, but my head took over. And here's what I thought, folks. I thought, look, I've made this entire year about dedicating myself, this entire season, 52 weeks, 52 episodes, an entire year, about changing who I am and changing myself physically and becoming an animal. That was the line I used, be a fucking animal and fucking go out and work out and do these things. And a lot of you have written me and told me that I inspired you by saying those things, and that's great. Our friend Sue in Boston is going to do a half marathon. She may have actually done it. She may be doing a full marathon by now. She may have run to the fucking moon. I have no idea. But she thanked me in a letter and said, thank you so much for inspiring me. And everybody who wrote me to say that, thank you, because you inspired me. Sort of. You did. But again, I have this impenetrable wall in my head that refuses praise or anything like that to get through and tells me to do things differently. And then I do them, and it's stupid, but who cares? I do them anyway because I'm dumb. But here was my plan, folks. Like I said, I was going to become a fucking animal. And I was going to take the whole year and see exactly what I did. I weighed in at the beginning of the year, and I was going to see where I weighed at the end of the year and physically changes and all that kind of stuff. Well, now 22 weeks have gone by, and I got injured a couple of times, and my head was really the biggest injury of all. And I alluded to this, like I said. about 7 weeks ago, I decided, you know what? I was going to work out hard and then take this Warrior Dash by storm. And then the whole point was at the end of the year to do another Warrior Dash and try to improve on the time from the first Warrior Dash. So why do I even care about this particular first Warrior Dash?
Oh, fuck.
Here's what I should be doing. I should live like a dipshit for the first 22 weeks of the season and go do the first Warrior Dash with no training whatsoever. Because then, the ensuing 30 weeks, I can completely change myself and see who I am at the end, and then I do that other Warrior Dash and look how much I improve my time. Isn't that much more interesting, folks? Who wants to hear about me eating oatmeal and grapes for fucking 52 weeks? Nobody. What you want is 22 weeks of me abusing myself and then throwing myself into a harsh physical challenge and seeing how my broken down, horrible body that's been abused for weeks and weeks, years and years, responds to that physical challenge. And then the Rocky-like triumph of the final 30 weeks of this season as I rebound from doing poorly in the first Warrior Dash and triumphing at the end in the other Warrior Dash. Don't you see? It works better for the narrative. Now, look, I recognize this entire thing is a bullshit story I told myself so I wouldn't have to fucking work out. But it still seemed very interesting to me. And I'm like, you know what? What if I took on this Warrior Dash with no training whatsoever? Isn't that a much better story? So I kind of decided that in my head, and I've alluded to it. Like I said, I'm going to tell you about it for weeks and weeks, but then I didn't. Because then I kept going, well, what if you don't do that? You should fucking work out. You should do some training. And as time ticked away, motherfucker, I'm telling you, I'm like, well, dude, you at least got 4 weeks left. You got a month left of working out. You got 3 weeks left. You can go ahead and treadmill. Dude, you got 2 weeks left. If you went 2 weeks hard and you ran 3 miles a day for 2 weeks, you could be fine. Dude, you're a week out from the Warrior Dash. You should really go to the gym at this point. But at that point, my head is too far gone. So I actually called Chris. Who I've mentioned before, who talked me into doing this fucking Warrior Dash. And I called her and I said, hey, I have some questions. She's like, all right. I said, I need to know what kind of gear I need. She's like, well, I'll be honest with you, you're probably going to throw away your clothes at the end of it. Like, because you're going to be so muddy and like crazy at the end of it. You're going to need, shorts and a shirt. And, I go, should I buy new shoes? She's like, no. Do not buy new shoes because it's going to be fucking mud and terrible. And at the end of it, trust me, you'll probably be throwing most of that stuff away. I said, oh, okay. And then I asked her about picking me up. She couldn't. So I throw this out there, by the way. I'll throw that later. I'll talk about that in a second. So I asked her if she's going to pick me up. She can't. And I said, can you pick me up the day of the Warrior Dash? She's like, oh, yeah. And she goes, and we're going to take you out to dinner on Saturday night after the Dash. And I'm like, well, that's if I'm, alive. And she's like, you'll be fine. Haha. Because I keep making that joke on Facebook and with everybody. Well, if I die during it, it should be fine. And there'll be a coffin and ha ha ha. So Chris and I are talking about dinner. And then I said to her, I have another question. She said, what? And I said, well, you've listened to the show. I know you're far behind. I think she's like 8 weeks behind. So she wouldn't even hear this. But if she'd only fast forward that first 22 minutes of every show, she'd catch up that much quicker. See, she's not into the secret that you guys are in on. So I said to her, hey, here's something I was thinking of doing. And she's like, what? I said, what if I didn't work out at all? And there was silence on the other end of the phone. Because I should tell you about Chris. She's a mom, and she has a job, a husband. And she runs in those mud races. Like, she's a mudder, and she runs these triathlons. She rides a bike. She does all that shit. Ironman stuff. So there's silence on the phone. She says, what? I said, what if I didn't train at all? I said, I think that's a lot more interesting if I show up with no training and I actually just do the race. Unprepared. And there's silence. And she just goes, I don't think that's a good idea at all. She goes, you've got 3 weeks left or 2 weeks left. You should just go train, like go to the gym and do something. And I go, yeah, I understand that. And look, I recognize that I'm actually erecting this as some weird thing because I don't want to go to the gym. But I still think it would be much more interesting now that if I went in as like the broken down dude who actually finished the race or tried to, and then I get to triumph at the end when I do the other race. And I think at that point she understood the level of crazy she was dealing with. And she's like, well, you're going to do what you want. I mean, you always do, but I don't think that you should do that. I think that you should actually, go to the gym and at least do some cardio and be ready for it because, I mean, it's crazy. I go, well, you know what? Here's the thing. Because once I had made my decision that I was going to go in just fucking cold, I went and reviewed the course again. And I looked at the obstacles. And I think they actually changed a couple of the obstacles from when I was describing. Because you remember I described them to you guys in the beginning of the year. And I had covered them back and forth because they had a fucking... What the hell was it? There was a wall and a drop and something called webs and a barricade thing, whatever the fuck. But so I went and looked at it again, and they have the wall still. So I started to look at each obstacle individually, and you know what? Fuck that. I could fucking do those things. I can do those things with no training. I absolutely can do those things in my head. I'm like, yeah, I can do those. There are only two that I'm worried about: the warrior wall, which you have to climb this wall with a rope, and then there's like a hill you've got to rappel down with like a rope. And those are the only things that fuck me up because there's height involved. But everything else is fine. I'll just fucking, I'll march through it. And she's like, well, you don't understand though. I think you'll be okay, but you can hurt yourself on this kind of stuff and da-da-da. And she started to give me the breakdown of what I needed to be prepared for and what I needed to be ready for. And so I said, well, look, just tell me about the wall. She goes, the wall is fine. She goes, it's just, you just got to climb up it. There's like 6 steps, and then you got to get over it. I said, that's something I'm worried about. She goes, don't be. She goes, you'll be fine, and people will help you up the wall if you can't get up the wall. And part of me is like, yeah, they will, unless you're some, 300-pound idiot who can't get over the goddamn wall. And then I told her there's this net. There's this fucking cool looking net. All right, you got to climb up this net, and then you climb down the net on the other side. And I said, I have a plan. And she's like, what? I said, I'm going to climb to the top of the net, and then I'm going to lay flat. I'm going to roll down the net. Like, when you're a kid and you roll down a hill? She goes, well, there's going to be other people on the net. I'm like, yeah, I understand, but I'll kind of wait for them to clear. She goes, all right, if you're going to do it, I can't wait to see you do it. Because it's like, otherwise you have to climb all the way back down like Spider-Man. It's like, fuck that. I'll just lay flat and like a log and I'll roll right off the goddamn net. It'll be fucking genius. You know what? I'm reinventing a way to do the Warrior Dash, folks. Because you know what? If I could find a way to do something lying down, I will. So I'm going to climb to the top of that net and just lay flat. And everybody's going, what are you doing? And I'm going to go Steamroller. Because when we were kids, I used to play Steamroller. I actually still do it to Karen. If we're laying on a floor that isn't covered in poison, I'll be laying next to her and I'll look at her. And I'll do it in bed too, whatever. You don't care, whatever. But we'll lay down and I'll look at her and she'll make eye contact with me and I go, Steamroller. And she'll go, no. And then you just roll over somebody and you make a noise and you just roll over them and you crush them and you go over on the other side. And then I go Steamroller backwards, then I steamroll over again. Well, I used to do that when I was a kid. We used to do it all the time. You'd play it where you'd like roll at one another and crash into one another when you're on the floor of the den. Steamroller? You never played Steamroller? Awesome. You needed more brothers. All right, so we would smash into one another. So now I'm going to do Steamroller on the net. I'm going to climb to the top and then just lay flat like you're planking and then just roll off. It's going to be awesome. And she's like, I want to see you do it if you're going to do it. I said, all right. I said, but I'm worried about the wall and I'm worried about the hill. She goes, well, don't worry. The hill, you climb down it, but it's. She goes, they're not trying to hurt you. They're not putting up obstacles that are going to. They don't want to hurt anyone. They want you to finish and everybody to have fun. She goes, you'll be fine. But I really, really recommend you do some working out. I said, okay, well, that's fine. I said, but I need to tell you something. Because, again, here's how stupid I am, folks. All right? I haven't worked out in forever. Like, I haven't at all. But I resent the fact that you would imply that I'm out of shape and I'm not going to get this thing done. Like, it's so stupid. I'm telling you flat out that I'm out of shape and I haven't worked out. But if you tell me, yeah, you're out of shape, you need to work out, I will get my hackles up and I will fight you. It's so stupid. Why am I like that? But I am, because then she starts telling me what I should do and how it's going to be. And I went, there was a pause and I go, hey, Chris. Because here's the thing. The whole point is I'm trying to justify my plan. That's it. That's the whole reason behind this next comment. I'm trying to justify my plan. But there's a pause and I go, hey, Chris, I'm not a fucking doughboy who can't even stand up straight. And she goes, oh no, I'm not saying that you're not. I said, I have muscles and I can run. I can do things even in this state. Certainly it would be better if I'd worked out and gotten myself in shape. But even as a guy as I am now, I think I'm gonna finish the race. It might take some time, but I'm definitely gonna do it. She goes, I'm not saying you won't. She goes, but I just think you would benefit if you went and worked out like once. Is that too much to fucking ask? Go work out once so you're ready for this fucking thing called the Warrior Dash, where you have to jump through fire and climb walls. Maybe just go push some iron around for 4 hours, or not even 1 hour. Do some cardio, get on a fucking treadmill, do anything to get yourself in shape. And she's saying all that, which is fine, and I understand that, but I think it's much more exciting if I go in cold, right, folks? It's like if you came out of a dead sleep and then you went and ran a marathon. Done. Perfect, right? So that's what I've chosen to do. I have the Warrior Dash coming up this weekend, and I'm going to be in Portland. All right, let's put it this way. All right, let's deal with this now. Hold on. I'm scheduled to be in Portland this week. I have a plane ticket. I have a hotel. I've paid my Warrior Dash entry fee. I already know what terrible shoes I'm wearing on the course. I'm ready to throw my clothes away. I'm ready to put my suitcase in the bathtub, folks, in Portland. And then last week, I got a weird email. And it was a producer of a show. And they said, hey, we wanted to check on your availability as a writer. We need somebody for 3 weeks to write some copy for a host and all these different things. And I should tell you, I don't know who these people are at all. Like, I've never met them. I don't know their names. It was one woman who contacted me, and then she had a producer on the show contact me. She's an exec producer, I think. And they both sent me emails and called. So I responded via email and said, I'm interested. And then I did not hear back. And then the very next day I wrote them and said, hey, I'm interested. I would love to do it. I want to meet, talk to you about whatever you need to talk about. So I went to sleep that day because, as you folks know, I have a horrible life where I sit up all night in a building and make sure nobody steals a car. And then I go to a bug-infested apartment and I sleep in a chair. So I contact them and I sleep in my chair. And it just so happens that's the day that I wipe myself out and I pass out for like 9 hours. I wake up in the afternoon. It's like 3:45, 4 o'clock. And I go online and I have 3 emails from them. And I check my phone and I've got 2 voicemails. So they were trying to get a hold of me, and they're telling me, hey, we really would like to talk to you today. We would love you to come in and visit with us today. That would be great. And I immediately know that I've blown the gig, because the last thing they want is a guy who is incommunicado, who does not respond to fucking calls. And I'm furious because, again, nobody else knows about my shitty lifestyle. So I immediately grabbed the phone and I called this guy. And he goes, hey, I just left you a voicemail on your cell phone. He was leaving a 3rd voicemail as I called on my landline. I go, hey, I'm real sorry. I apologize. He goes, yeah, we were trying to get a hold of you all day. We really wanted you to come in today and talk about this. I said, I understand. I said, I apologize. I have a weird graveyard schedule. And he goes, oh, okay. And it's so funny. He works in TV. And they have, they know me as a writer somehow. I don't know how. But he immediately thinks that I'm working in TV. So I said, I have a graveyard schedule. I apologize for not getting a hold of you. I'm getting you now, and I hope it's not too late. He goes, oh, no, that's the problem. He goes, man, what show they got you working on where you're working late like that? What show's got you working graveyard? And I go, you know what? I can't. It's a security thing. It's no big deal. And there's a pause on the other end of the phone. And he goes, oh. Well, I wasn't trying to get information out of you. If it's a show that you can't talk about, that's fine. He thinks I said it's a security thing that I can't talk about the fucking show. And I was saying, like, no, if I told you the show, I'd have to kill you, like that bullshit. And there's a pause, and I go, no, dude, I actually work a security thing. I mean, I'm sorry, I hate to say it, but yes, I work in a building as a security person. And you don't want to say that either, because then they think you're out of television. You know what I mean? It's that weird thing. So I spit it out to try to make him feel comfortable. But then in my mind, immediately I went, you just fucking lost this gig. You lost this gig. Because the whole point is you got to play the role. You have to play the role. Nobody wants to. You will get the stink of failure and the stink of death on you, and people do not want to be associated with you. And I know that sounds phony and weird to you, but trust me, in this business, in this industry, if they hear you're not in this business or this industry, they wonder why you're not working in this business or this industry, and they look for somebody who is working in this business and this industry. So if I told people that I was working as a graveyard job, because it's funny, if you listen to the first year of this show, and maybe even the first 2 years, I never talked about it. I never talked about it because I did not want people to know that I worked as a fucking graveyard security guy, because it would make it look like I was not a comedian, or I was not in show business, or I was not somebody who could write for a living. Because if they hear that you're doing something shitty like that, they immediately tune you out. I think I've told this story on here before. When I was working at a show called Funny Money, it was the first writing job I ever had. And there was a guy who was the head of National Lampoon at the time, because it was National Lampoon's Funny Money. And the way I got that job was, and let me apologize right now. Have I talked about this, Lily? Have I talked about it?
I don't think so.
If I have, I apologize. The reason I got the job was I got called in on a lark, because that's sometimes how it happens. They're putting together a show and they need comedians, and they're like, well, we need somebody to do some punch up. We need somebody to do some writing. And they got my name through Omnipop, which is an agency here that it represents Jimmy Pardo. And at the time I was friendly with them. So they may have given my name. I don't know. They just needed comedians for what they called run-throughs. All right? Because they were putting together a show and they didn't even know what the show was. They just knew that it was going to be funny and there was going to be comedians needed, so they wanted me to come in and do a thing. So I came in, and one of the rounds was they showed pictures and you had to write captions, funny captions for the photos, and the funniest one as voted by the audience, whatever. They were still putting together the show. Well, I started to write the captions, and I was crushing it. Because I was really good at it, because I'm fucking funny and I can write. So they started bringing me back for every run through. And this was, these guys from the Game Show Network, and they started bringing me in, and these producers really liked me. And then they started having me write the captions for other comedians. So they told the comedians, they were like, well, just concentrate on being funny, but we'll give you captions. So I actually wrote captions for every photo for every comedian. So they started bringing me in for every run through, and I started doing that. And then we started talking about more show. We started structuring the show, and it turned out all of a sudden I was part of the team. Like, I was in there with the producers, and they started to think, they were like, Jesus Christ, where did this fucking guy come from? Which is that's an effect I have on people sometimes, because they don't know who the fuck I am, and nobody should, and nobody does, because I'm nobody famous. Again, I work in a security job in a fucking building. But then when you get me in and you ask me to do things that I'm good at, and you see me do them, you go, holy shit, and you realize what you got in your hands. So that's what happened. I became kind of part of the team, like a de facto writer, even though there was no show and there was no production just yet. But they kept bringing me in, and they kept having me create stuff, which was fun, and I liked it. And one of the guys who was involved in the team was the head of National Lampoon. I don't remember his name at this point, or maybe I do and I don't want to say it. Regardless, he was there, and he was astonished by me. And that seems strong, because if you asked him about it, he was kind of a curmudgeonly dude, and he wasn't astonished, but he recognized my talent. Let's put it that way. I don't want to oversell this. But he recognized my talent, so then he approached me one day, and he said, hey, we're putting together like a show business version of The Onion. It's going to be like a show business, like a knockoff of The Onion, but it's going to be all show business related, and we think you would be great for it if you would write some samples for us. So I said, okay. So I went home and I wrote like 8 stories for The Onion, like small stories. They were like 2-paragraph filled ones. Here was my favorite one. And I'm not going to, again, it's all in the language with The Onion. You have to write area man and all those sorts of things. So you have to kind of write in that style. I can't remember exactly the wording or the language. Maybe I'll throw this up on Facebook. What the fuck? Who cares? But it's a story I wrote about how Gene Simmons had figured out a way to sue people for making eye contact with Kiss. Because they owned the trademark on the makeup, so if you even saw it, you owed them $8. Like, it was this amazing, and I was really excited about it. So I wrote that as one of them, and I wrote other things about, all sorts of stuff. At the time, Madonna and Britney Spears had just had the kiss on the VMAs. And it was all about, I wrote a story about how Madonna was excited to drink her, she was going to be feasting on the blood of the young this year, and whatever the fuck, who cares? But the Kiss one was the one that really stuck out. That one I really liked. So I actually wrote it, I sent them to some friends of mine, and I said, hey, what do you think of these? And my friend wrote me back, and he's like, holy shit, you're going to get this job. So I gave them to this guy, Bob, whatever his name is. So I gave them to him, the guy from National Lampoon, and he read them, and he loved them. And he was like, these are great. I mean, these are really good. This is exactly the sensibility we were looking for. I was like, oh, cool. And he's like, well, I don't know where we're going to put it together, but I mean, I could see like 2 of these being ready for print right now. I said, great. He's like, how come I don't know you? I said, I don't know. I'm just a comic. And he's like, well, where did you go to school? And I go, nowhere. He goes, what do you mean? Where'd you go to college? I go, I didn't go to college. He goes, you didn't, because he goes, this is like, he goes, we have guys from the Harvard Lampoon and all that on this show. He goes, so where did you go to college? And I said, I didn't go to college. He goes, you didn't go to college? I said, no, I didn't even graduate high school. And he went, what? I said, yeah, I didn't even graduate high school. And I thought that was me bragging about my natural talent and go, look what I can do, even though I didn't graduate high school. To him, all he heard was I was stupid. And then he started to question whether or not the stories were good. And then he decided that he didn't want to use me in his project. And then when I got the job at Funny Money, he would bring in stuff to be written or rewritten, and he would give it to the other 2 writers. Even though everything I wrote was fucking genius. Even though other comedians would come and work and I would give them the captions. Because here's the thing, the way it would work. I'll tell you the thing about Funny Money. We had the caption round, okay? And we would let comedians write their own captions. And we would say to them, if you don't want to, here, you can choose from these. And they would look at mine and they go, oh, I'll take one of those. Because mine were fucking, that's what I did. I was a machine. But this motherfucker, the second he heard I didn't graduate high school, that was it. I was done. He had proof of my work in his hands. He had proof of seeing me for 2 months in the room on the fly create funny out of nothing. But it didn't matter because the second he heard not only did I not go to a college with a name, that I didn't even go to high school, he doubted me and I was written off. So that's why you don't ever want to tell anybody anything about you that could lead to them making a judgment that is or is not true, but it doesn't matter because it's cemented in their fucking head. So that's why I don't like to tell people that I work as a security guard in a fucking building. And that's why I didn't talk about it on here for the first 2 years. And it's like, you know what? I have the same bias. I see a comedian in a club, and if he says I was at work today, in my head I go, why should I listen to any jokes you say from this point on? You have a job. You have a job. There's no way you are funny enough to make me laugh if you still have a day job. And I know that's fucking bullshit. It's ridiculous. Because I work a fucking job and then I try to do stand-up. But I always try to keep up the illusion on stage of not having a job. Which is weird because that led to me not writing anything about my life. And then I do this show, and all I do is talk about my life, and that seemed to be the breakthrough, and it let me be that guy. Because it's funny, when you're writing for shows, nobody wants me to do that material on stage either. Because these are people who work construction, and then I'm up there and I'm going, oh, and I had to write these 5 jokes today at the office. You guys know what I'm talking about. No, we don't, motherfucker. We don't know anything about what you're talking about. Because you work in a fucking cushy writing job for fucking $1,800 a week. So nobody wants to hear that end of it either. But also in real life, in real comedy, if you're in a club and a guy goes up and he's like, oh man, yeah, I work in the post office during the day. Then you're like, well, fuck you, funny mailman. Nobody wants to hear your bullshit. You really? You work in a post office? Well, here, put this package in the fucking thing behind you and take too long to help me at a window. Well, no, I've got jokes for you. No, you don't, motherfucker. Put on your blue suit and bring me some mail at 3 o'clock. I don't want to hear your fucking jokes. And that's just a bias. I know it. It's there because I have the same fucking thing. Whenever I see a comic at an open mic talk about his job, I'm just like, dude, I don't want to hear anything else from you. It's stupid and it's wrong, but that's my bias. And I've fallen victim to it in the past, which is why I don't talk about being a security guy. So when it came out of my mouth, because I was trying to make him feel better because we were confused, but then in my head I just went, you just lost this fucking gig. But instead, thankfully, he just glossed over it. And he's like, oh, okay. Well, no, that's no problem. He goes, if you're up late or during the day, he goes, can you come in tomorrow to talk? Because it was like 4:30 in the afternoon or whatever. And I said, yeah, whenever you need me. He goes, well, can you come in tomorrow? I said, certainly. He goes, whenever, with your graveyard thing, I don't want to make you stay up too late or come into, he goes, is noon okay? I go, noon works. He goes, what about 10 a.m.? I go, whatever you need me, I'm there. He goes, all right, yeah, 10 a.m. would work better than noon for us. I go, whatever you need, I'm there. It's fine. Because this was Thursday. I had talked to this guy before I did the podcast last week. So I knew I had to do it on Thursday. So he goes, all right, great. I'll send you the address and that's fine. So he wanted to see me at 10 a.m. And it's so funny. He's like, I'll send you the address. So in my head, I'm just going, please be in the valley. Please be in the valley, which is where I live. I wait for his email before I come see Lily last week, and I get the email, and he's in Redondo Beach, which is 30 miles by freeway from me. Or you can go 22 miles on surface streets, which is longer than the fucking freeway. But in the morning, it's not. In the morning, if you're taking the fucking freeway, because I got to leave my house at 8:15 to get there by 10. It's 20 miles away, but I still need an hour and 45 minutes to make sure I get there. So I was pissed. Oh, fuck, I wasn't pissed. It's a writing job. I would walk to fucking Redondo Beach. So I said, great. You know, I saw the thing. But it's funny, but you still find reasons to bitch where you just go, oh, no, I got to drive. Fuck you got to drive. Go get a writing job. Shut the fuck up. So the next morning comes, and I don't go to bed because I know I'm not going to be able to sleep. So I stay up. Get in the car about 8:40. Yes, I was supposed to leave at 8:15. I leave at 8:40. I decided to take surface streets. About 5 after 10, I'm still like not even 5 miles, 4 miles from where he is. So I call him, and he goes, oh, because in my head, I'm like, well, they told me noon, but then maybe 10. And I was like, I was doing them a favor by coming in at 10. I'm rationalizing it in my fucking brain. He answers, he goes, no problem, we're here, which is good. It alleviated my fear. So I get there, and they're in some fucking, it's so funny. You always think, you hear working in TV, and everybody's like, oh, it's glamorous, it's amazing, it's a studio. Well, they're in some fucking warehouse in Redondo Beach because it's in the middle of, it's just a big building. They need, because you need space to do things. And you walk in, it's just like your work. And I walked in, I checked in, they were very nice. So I was waiting, and I look on the walls, and it's a production company that produced a lot of things you would know. I mean, like, I don't want to say because I don't, whatever the fuck. But it's like on the wall, there's posters and stuff. So I'm like, oh, this is cool. And in my head, I still have no idea how they figured out who I am. I have no idea. Because this happened to me to, when I did the voice on the Life and Times of Tim earlier last year, I found out my friend BJ had referred me. Like because they called me to give me the job. I didn't have to audition or anything. So it was a fluke. But just because I happen to have a friend who was a producer there. So I'm in this building. I haven't heard any of these people. I don't know them. And I'm waiting, and they come out to get me, and they're very nice. And she actually has my resume in her hand. So obviously they got my resume from somebody. We sit down to talk. And they start telling me about the concept of their show. And it's a reality show, but it's a game show. And they start telling me about it, and we start talking, and we hit it off. Everything's great. And she even says, she's like, I have no idea where I got your name. I don't know where I got your resume, but it was on my desk, and we need somebody, and I really like what you've got here. So I talked to her, and I talked to this other gentleman, and we get along great. Everything's going very well. We met about a half an hour, and I felt really good about it. And they needed somebody quick. So I had to tell them, I said, they're like, look, this would be for the next 3 weeks, and, we would need you in the office for a lot of it, but then also you can do some stuff from home. And then you'll be able to send it to us, but you need to be kind of on call for us whenever we need you. I said, look, I'm ready whenever you need me. I said, I will work, I'm a late guy, so I'm up all night. I'm happy to send you stuff in the daytime. You tell me a time to be there, and I'll be there. You tell me a time you need something, and you'll have it. That's how I do it. And they said, great. Everything seemed fine. I got up, I shook hands, and they said, like I said, we need somebody in a quick turnaround time. So, we'll let you know in the next few days. And I said, I do need to tell you I have some scheduling stuff. Next week I'm in Portland for like 3 days. I said the following week I'm in Milwaukee for like 5 days. And they went, ooh. They go, well, we definitely would need you is the week after that, like the week of the 16th, because that's when we would hopefully be filming, and you'd be in there with us, and you would be able to help with stuff on the fly. I said, great, that's perfect. Hey, I have jury duty that week.
Oh, no.
And they went, ooh. Well, we would definitely need to. I go, look, I can postpone it. You can call and change it, whatever you need from me. If I get the gig, let me know. I said, I can change whatever you need. And they go, well, we might need you in town next week, which is this week, which is Portland. And then we would probably need you in 2 weeks. But we would need you in the first week because we need to establish stuff. And then the week after that, where are you? And I said, Milwaukee. They said, you can send us stuff from the road if you want. And because I had explained the podcast and I explained the live show concept and that you guys start Facebook pages and things like that. I did not tell them Portland was not a show. But in my mind, I was just going to do it and it was fine. But then when they said they might need me for that week, that's why I tell you now, I may not be in Portland. That was my thought, that I would have to cancel it. So they said, do us a favor, go home, send us some samples so we can take a look at what you do, and then we'll call you. I said, great. Got home, sent them samples. And what I sent them was I sent them just a page of monologue stuff, jokes, just as they can have a general idea of what my humor is. And then I sent them a full page that I had written of host copy. Which is, when the host talks and the introductions and the rules, all that bullshit. The writing nobody wants to do. When you get a job at a show, you just want to write funny or you want to write that, the main content, but somebody has to write the interstitials. I remember when we did Starface, it was great. Me, Kevin, Danielle, Matt Weinhold, and Mike Bailey were the writers. And one day we just said, let's write all the intros and outros. So we spent an entire day and we each wrote like 30 intros, 30 outros, and then we just took the best of them and applied them for the show. So then you're done. Because that's the grunt work of it. You're not writing actual jokes. You're writing funny, but you're trying to write it quick. So I went home and I sent them my samples, and then I went to bed at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Woke up, checked my email. I had not heard from them. This was, again, on Thursday. Lived my life. Woke up Friday. Did not hear from them. And I was like, this isn't good. And then about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I got a note, and it just said, thanks, Mike. And that was from the executive producer. And then nothing. Nothing the rest of the weekend. And so I went, in my mind, I knew I was done. I did not get the job. Because I was really proud of the samples that I sent, and I thought that was going to seal the deal, because we had a great meeting. Everything went really well. But then when I sent the samples and I heard 2 words in 2 days, I went, yeah, something happened. I mean, I obviously... what I sent them was not what they were looking for. It wasn't good enough. And I can't be mad about that because everybody has a certain idea of what their show is going to be. And if what I do isn't right for you, then that's fine. All I can do is send you the stuff that I'm good at or that I'm proud of or that I've produced that I think is good and hope you like it. So obviously they didn't. So I didn't hear from them for days. And then, of course, Monday's Labor Day. And they had talked about starting on the 6th, which was Tuesday, which is why I knew there was a problem because I had not heard from them. Because, again, like I said, they said they were going to need me in there this week to take care of stuff. Well, here we are. So Monday came and went. And then Tuesday, yesterday afternoon, I had an appointment in Hollywood. So I waited all day, and I didn't know how to hear from them. So about 4 o'clock yesterday, I called. And I just left a note, and I said... or a voicemail, I should say, not a note. And I just went, hey, it's Mike Schmidt. I just wanted to call and touch base. We had talked, and you said you might need me this week. I don't know if you went in a different direction, but if you did, that's fine. I just need to know for my scheduling. Because as you know, I record my show on Wednesdays. I'm going to Portland this week, and I'm going to Milwaukee next week. I need to know if I'm making any changes to jury duty, all of that stuff. I can't do that until I hear from you, either that you want me or you don't, which is fine. And if I wind up not working with you, I hope you all make $1 million. And I hung up the phone, and I'm like, "You are the dumbest person alive. Why would you say that?" But but at the same time, I was still funny and whatever. That's the whole point. You can't act like you're upset that you didn't get a gig, because then you'll never get a call again, because then you're just a jagoff. And I wasn't upset. Like I said, all you can do is hope that they like what you did. So I left that message. That was fine. And I told Karen, I go, "Look, I probably didn't get this job," and she's like, "Well, it's okay. There'll be another one." And I'm like, "Will there?" Will there really? Because I don't think there will be, man. Because this was just like an out of the blue. And I went, I should tell you this. This is even better. When I happened to be looking for an old email. So I was sorting through older sent emails in my email box. And like 2 months ago, I came upon the name of that producer. And it turns out I was referred to her by my friend Pat. Pat was working on a show, and then he said, "Hey, look, I know somebody who needs somebody who works for this person. Send them a resume like right away." And I never heard from them until now when they need somebody for something else, which is great. I mean, it's just that's how it works. It's so weird. It's so weird. So I left that message, and I didn't get the gig, and that was fine. And so I was like, all right, well, Portland is going to happen. And when I should tell you, when I found out last Thursday that it might not be coming to Portland, well, that definitely made sure that I didn't work out those 4 days. Why would I go ahead and start working out? I mean, I'm not even going there, for fuck's sake. So I can't take these 4 days. I got to take them for me. I need to take these 4 days for me to get used to possibly having this job, because I got to realize what my schedule is going to be, and I can't possibly devote any time to a fucking treadmill. Who could think in a time like this? So I said, I'm not working out. So The time passed, Labor Day came through, and then I sent them the note. And then yesterday, which is Tuesday, late at night, I get an email from the producer, and he says, "Hey, Mike, no decision has been made yet. You are definitely still in the mix. It's a little late to talk now, but let's talk tomorrow and catch up." Which is great on one end because I'm very excited that I'm still in the mix for this job. But at the same time, I need to know if I'm canceling airfares and hotels. I need to know what the fuck I'm doing with my life here. And the short answer to that is very easy. Whatever they want me to do. Okay, I don't give a fuck. I will jump through every hoop. I will cancel whatever the fuck I need to cancel just to get that job. Because even if it's a short job, it could lead to more work. It could lead to them seeing what I can do and them thinking, you know what, let's attach him to the project. Or maybe there's another project. Or anything to be in the fucking job market again, where I'm not babysitting fucking cars. Anything to be under the watchful eye of show business, where I don't have to fucking lie about what the fuck I'm doing and sleep in a chair all day in the daytime in the fucking sun. Ridiculous. What am I, a bug? I'm not in a bag. I'm not a bug in a bag out in the sun. I don't want to sleep in the daytime anymore. Fuck this vampire lifestyle. So I will do whatever the fuck they tell me. But the thing is, they got to tell me. I just checked my fucking phone. They still haven't called me back. I called them on the way here, and I got no text. I got no call unless they called my home phone. But now it's Wednesday. I'm flying Friday. I'm supposed to be flying Friday, and they were telling me that they wanted me to cancel, and this is the way it works, and I understand that. I just hope I don't lose the gig because they fucking have to travel, and it's too late in the game to fucking cancel. If they call me Friday and go, hey, we need you in here today, well, dude, I'm in Portland, and I told you I was traveling, and they knew that, and they know that, and I've made it very clear, and I told them that, but at the same time, they don't operate on my fucking schedule, and I would cancel if they would just fucking tell me. I don't know what to do, and that's why I haven't made plans for Portland. Like, I don't have anybody picking me up from the airport. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Because, again, I was in a holding pattern about whether or not I was coming, for fuck's sake. So if you want to pick me up at the airport, tell me. Write me an email or something. And then I'll let you know Friday morning if I'm actually coming. Because my flight is at 10 a.m. from here, and I'll be in there by noon, I think, in Portland. So if you can pick me up at the airport in Portland at noon, that'd be great. Because I'm probably doing that Friday. If I'm not doing that Friday, I'm at a job in Redondo Beach writing jokes for another show that might go or might not go. I have no idea. I'm just waiting, folks. I'm in a holding pattern. I'm circling around, waiting and hoping that my fuel doesn't fall out. Because I can tell you, there's definite things I'm doing this weekend. I'm either definitely going to be in Portland, trying not to die, or I'm definitely going to be at this job in Redondo Beach. Okay? And actually, there's a third definite. You know where I'm definitely not going to be this weekend? The gym. Because whether I'm in Redondo Beach writing jokes, or whether I'm in Portland trying to steamroll somebody down a fucking net, I just don't have time to hit the treadmill, folks. I don't. Because isn't it much more interesting if I don't, right? You guys agree with that? Isn't it much more interesting if I go in cold? Whether it's a job or a fucking weird warrior dash, it's just that much more interesting if I go in cold. And oh my God, folks, brace yourselves for the final 30 weeks of this season. Because I am transforming myself. Either I'm going to have a job and be successful in show business, or I'm actually going to stop eating and get on a fucking treadmill for once. That'd be fucking amazing. Either way, this Warrior Dash / Redondo Beach / job / the thing that they won't call me about is the turning point. I'm all in. And this time, I mean it. You guys can get me at Mike at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. You can be my friend at Facebook.com/the40-year-old-boy. You can follow me at Twitter.com/the40-year-old-boy. You can follow our friend Lily Von Stupp on 2 Twitter accounts, Twitter.com/MNTs and Twitter.com/Lily Von Stupp. You can be her friend at Facebook.com/Lily Von Stupp. You can be our friend David Hernandez. He is the guy who does all the music and all the artwork for this show, and an amazing guy. Just a friendly person. Just someone you really want in your life. You can be his friend at Facebook.com/DavidMexHernandez. And if you'd like to write our friend Lily a personal note and find out... that's a cute face. Find out exactly how cute her face is right now. No, if you want to write her a personal note and tell her that she should not cut off her hair, please write her at Lily at burlesque411.com. That's Lily, Lili, at burlesque411.com. remind you folks about the Monday Night Teas every Monday night at the 3 clubs on Santa Monica and Vine. 10 o'clock p.m. is that show. I'm good friends with the producer. I'm friends with a lot of the people who are in those shows every week. I seem to, I wouldn't say good friends, but I know them. And we get along, but I am very good friends with the producer of this show. Her name is Lily Bunchup. I happen to have her right here. Hey, Lily.
Hi.
How are you?
Fantastic.
How was this week's Monday Night Teas?
It was awesome. Great turnout for a 3-day weekend on a Monday night.
Labor Day. I understand you were worried.
Always are, because you never know on the third day of a holiday when it's a Monday like that, people are either too drunk and too broke and too sick to go out, or else they're like, hey, I haven't stopped drinking since Friday, which can be an interesting crowd too.
Yeah.
So.
Or they're at the, so did the thing fall out? Are we okay? Are we recording? Okay. I saw some cords moving. Yeah, and also people they'll get fried by the sun. They're like on the beach or whatever, and then I know that weird Monday night feeling where you're just like, God damn it, I don't even want to move. I don't even move.
Great turnout, lots of fun, great show.
Terrific. You have a show coming up this week, as always, because it is the longest running, most successful burlesque show in the history of Los Angeles.
I don't know about that.
All of that is true. So there's a show this Monday. Is it a theme show?
No.
It is a regular Monday Night Teas?
Regular.
That's fantastic. Are you involved in some way?
I am.
Hosting?
Yes.
All right. You're reading Facebook now, and I'm losing
No,
you to
I'm not
something.
reading Facebook. I'm
What are you
watching
reading?
the lines because there was a problem last week, so I'm keeping an even closer eye.
Folks, I must mention that there was an audio thing last week for about 4 minutes. There was a lot of dropping out. And what's funny is we were talking when I was doing the show. I actually stopped at one point. We went back and listened, and we heard a drop-off in the audio, and then I had to retake some audio. We fixed it, we thought, but apparently it was a more in-depth problem than we thought, so we do apologize for last week's 4-minute interval of weirdness. But now Lily is keeping...
I'm so sorry.
Listen, I cannot believe that this free content was corrupted. I don't know why that happened. Well, I don't really apologize, but I also don't want to be a fucking dick about it. But people do write me, and they were very nice about it, which was good. I mean, that's if people are nice, I don't mind saying, "Oh yeah, I do apologize for that." But we had no control over it. It just fucking happened. The computer went a little bananas, and I thought we fixed it, but we didn't. So I hope it did not ruin your enjoyment of last week's. I hope that 4 minutes did not ruin your enjoyment of the other 3 hours and 25 minutes of last week's free show, folks. So you are hosting this week, did you say?
I am.
That's fantastic news. Everybody go see our friend Lily host because she loves to do it, and she often wears revealing costumes while she does so.
I do.
That's good. Everybody likes that. Well, she wears revealing costumes all the time, and that's Lily regular during the day, basically, is just wearing, it's just, you'll see her and her shelf is out, and you're just like, whoa. But that's Lily. That's who she is. She can't help it, man. She wears her tits on her sleeve. So that's a big show coming up this week, and you're hosting. That's exciting. I don't know what you're doing. That's a lot of manipulation of boobs that I didn't need to see right now. Well, you should take your shirt off and then see if it works better.
Yeah, no.
All right, just checking. So go to the Monday Night Teas, buy tickets, go and check it out. It's exciting. Our friend Lily is hosting this week, and it's a great show. And there are tickets on sale. Well, they're not on sale now yet, right, for November?
They're on sale for the next 4 weeks.
All right, for the next 4 weeks, you can get tickets to the Monday Night Teas at MondayNightTeas.com for information.
Yeah, or
And BrownPaperTickets.com, you can find tickets. And also, please remember, in November, remember, in the month of November, V is not for Vendetta. V is for Victory for the new Prince show. I don't know what V is for. But they are doing the Prince show again in November. I will be there watching from afar. And by the way, I thank you to all the people who wrote me to tell me about Prince in Chicago. Did you hear about that? He's doing the 20 shows in Chicago, that he did the 20 shows here. Yeah, I want to go home and go to them. But the difference is here in L.A., he did it was like $25 a show. No, it's like $50 and then more. So, and it's worth it because it's fucking Prince, of course. So pay it and see him. But I'm very lucky and very happy that we got the opportunity to see him here and at the affordable cost because I was able to see him twice, and my wife saw him anywhere near 8 times. She may have seen him in double figures. I don't fucking remember. She just kept sneaking out, and she'd be like, "Yeah, I saw Prince tonight." "Oh, really? Thanks for asking me to go." But yeah, so the Prince show will be at the Monday Night Teas in November, and I will let you know once tickets are on sale for that because they will go quickly. You will want them. But right now, go to brownpapertickets.com or MondayNightTeas.com for information about the next 4 weeks. Those are available now. There's theme shows, regular shows. Everything is available. Go check those out right now. You can go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com for all sorts of things. First of all, I should tell you, go to Facebook.com/the40-year-old-boy and be my friend there. And also look for all the pages of people who want to bring me to their town. There's Bring Mike Schmidt to Detroit, and if San Antonio is still available, I believe that we're still looking at London, of course, but that's honestly a pipe dream unless I can do a Kickstarter for it. Montreal, that page started last week. Bring Mike Schmidt to Montreal is available right now, and I would love to go there and say bonjour to you folks. Do you say that there? Are you Frenchies? I think you are, right? So I want to go to Montreal. That'll be fun and exciting. Let's get that page working. And Detroit, like I said, there's a Eugene, Oregon, I think, page for some reason that no one knows. And London. And I'm missing a page. I know there's another page of people who want me to go there. I don't know. But I do have shows coming up, folks. Let's talk. Let's sit down and let's have a real heart-to-heart. Turn your hats backwards, turn your chairs backwards, and make eye contact with me right now, folks. We've got some explaining to do. We got some talking to do. We have to have a heart-to-heart conversation. I'm in Green Bay, Wisconsin next week at a show. There will be a podcast before that, so I'll tell you. I'll really beat you over the head with this next week. But let's talk about it now. There are tickets on sale right now for shows in Philadelphia, St. Louis, and Green Bay. Green Bay's been on sale for about 2 months. St. Louis has been on sale for a week. I have now sold as many tickets in St. Louis as I have sold for Green Bay. I'm coming to Green Bay. It's going to be fun and exciting, and I can't wait. However, it's going to be empty, unless you guys decide to rally up and buy some tickets. And look, I know a lot of you have seen me before, and so I don't expect you to come. I would like to try to get some new audience, and this is not on you, all right? Let's go ahead and I should tell you that right now. This is not on you guys. You tell me you want to go places, you want me to go to your town and all that kind of stuff. Well, I kind of cheated a little bit and came back to Wisconsin because there was a Bring Mike Back to Wisconsin 2012 page, but I did not have to do it. However, our friend Mike in Green Bay offered up his theater, and when somebody offers me up a venue, I find it very difficult to pass on because I'm used to digging and trying to get venues and calling and not getting called back, and that's the hard part of it is finding the venue. So if I find a venue in a city, I'm willing to just book it and kind of roll the dice. Well, I am coming up snake eyes at this point in Green Bay. So if you want to come to the show, great. And if you don't, that's fine too. I don't want to bully you. I don't want to pressure you. A lot of you have come and you're repeat customers, and I'm not going to make you come and sit through me again. I wish I had a bigger audience in that area that I could expound upon and I could get people to come into the show. Expand? I think expand upon. I could expound upon them if I had a larger audience and talk about them. Maybe they'd be flattered and come see me to thank me at the show. I have no idea. The bottom line is if you're coming to Green Bay, buy tickets because I would really like to know that there's going to be some people in the room. And if there's not, that's fine. I just got contacted by Mike at the Venture Theater. I should just tell you, let's do the dates. September 14th, next Friday, not this coming Friday, but a week and it's about 10 days away from now. I'll be at the Venture Theater in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And Mike is the guy who runs the theater, and he wrote me and said, hey, dude, I know you want to do the meet and greet and you sell shirts and do all that kind of stuff. Well, my room is probably not the best place for that, but there's a bar right up the street, and they have a room in the back that doesn't cost anything to reserve. Why don't I reserve that for the meet and greet? And I wrote him and I said, dude, that's a great idea. Because I'll tell you what, Mike has been crazy proactive. He has been really great about getting everything arranged, and I can't thank him enough. So I can only hope that we have a crowd in his theater and I don't ruin his weekend. So it would be nice if you bought tickets and come out next week, September 14th at the Venture Theater in Green Bay. And I said, we'll do the meet and greet afterwards at this bar up the street, and we'll get some soup and we'll enjoy ourselves. They have like a smoky Cajun andouille soup, which I was like, that's all I needed. Really, I don't give a fuck about the room or the meeting people, but there's a bar you guys can drink and I can eat soup. October 19th, I will be in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania at the Latvian Society. Those ticket sales are not picking up, but again, we're at least 6 weeks away, so I expect that to hopefully take a turn for the better. Tickets are available now at brownpapertickets.com for Philadelphia. Tickets are available at brownpapertickets.com for Green Bay, and tickets are also available at brownpapertickets.com for November 14th at the Soulard Hall in St. Louis, Missouri. And a lot of you have stepped up and bought some tickets. Thank you so much. A lot's a big, strong word, but for the first week, it was really nice. And then people wrote me and said, it's not Soulard Hall, it's Soulard. So I certainly don't want to offend you folks out there in the fine county of, I was going to say the county of St. Louis. How offensive is that? I don't want to offend you guys, but I've just made your entire city a county. Whatever. So it's the Soulard Hall. That's where I will be in on November 14th. Tickets are available at brownpapertickets.com for me in St. Louis, me in Green Bay, and me in Philadelphia. Still looking for Detroit, still looking for other cities and trying to get other stuff put together, hopefully soon. And hopefully I'll do some other stuff before the end of the year. I'd love to do 1 or 2 more dates, but again, it's all about finding venues and getting dates that work. Once you get around the holidays, it turns into a problem. But again, tickets are on sale at Brown Paper Tickets for all of those dates, and hopefully, like I said, I would get 1 or 2 more, ideally, before the end of the year. At Facebook.com, you can be my friend. If you go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com, remember that you can donate to the show via the upper left-hand corner of every page of MikeSchmidtComedy.com. There is a little Schmitty there. Click on him and make a one-time donation to the show, or you can tithe as if you were some sort of Mormon. If I started a cult, you can send $2 a month, $5 a month, $10 a month, or $25 a month. Those donations are always appreciated. I do want to thank you so much for everybody who's going ahead and giving cash and signing up. On the Joe Business page of MikeSchmidtComedy.com, there's plenty of stuff there available. There are mugs from Zazzle.com. There's the Fireboy mug and the Thorgar and Yeep mug. There are T-shirts available. There's Red Boy and Scar Panda. Those are always available right now at MikeSchmidtComedy.com at the Joe Business page. The download sets are available. Year 1, Year 2, Year 3, and Year 4 are available individually or collectively as part of the Podcast of the Caribbean set. That's 4 years of this show for the price of 3. Year 1 is Curse of the Black Schmidt. Year 2 is Dead Man's Schmidt. Year 3 is At Schmidt's End. And Year 4 is On Stranger Mike's. Pick those up right now. Also, you can get customized artwork from the show. Any explosion of id you've seen, any artwork from any episode of the show you've seen is available on a print that will be autographed by myself, our friend David Hernandez, who created all of that amazing work, and our friend Lily Bunchtup, who produces the show every week. We will autograph those and send them out right away. So that's T-shirts, that's mugs. Also, tweakedaudio.com/40. Those are good friends and sponsors of the show. You can get earbuds, autoerotic asphyxiation earbuds, or cock ring watches available right now at tweakedaudio.com/40. So that's Tweaked, and then Zazzle, and then, of course, the download sets, the T-shirts, the artwork, the donations, and anything else that you want to do there while you're there at my site, looking around at things to do. We have another page that we're working on. It's going to take some time. Our friend Lily is doing some work, and once she's got that squared away, I can talk to Farmer Ryan and see if we can get it all up for you guys to check out. That'll be fun. Hopefully sometime in the next 30 weeks, because again, folks, it is going to be a sprint to the finish line as we all do cardio together and wait to see the amazing things that happen at MikeSchmidtComedy.com over the next 30 weeks. Remember that the Los Angeles Podcast Festival is coming up in October 12th, 13th, and 14th. I'm scheduled for the 14th at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I don't know if that's changed. It may have. It may still. But right now, I think I'm performing on Sunday afternoon, and I think I'm on a panel, a storytelling panel. I'm not sure. We'll see. But again, October 12th, 13th, and 14th, it's all in play. Tickets are available for individual days, or you can get a pass for all 3 days, in which you'll see Todd Glass, Jackie Cation, the Moving Van Men, which is Al Madrigal, who's very funny. Doug Loves Movies has now got a slot. I think Sam Tripoli has his podcast, Naughty Nights with Sam, or whatever the fuck it's called. I have no idea. I don't know Sam, but I understand his show's very funny. Eddie Ift and Jim Jeffries have their show there on Friday night. That'll be huge. Aisha Tyler is, of course, going to be there. There's millions and billions of podcasters at the Los Angeles Podcast Fest. Of course, Graham Elwood and Chris Mancini are doing their episode of Comedy Film Nerds. And, of course, Andy Wood will be there with Probably Science, Positively Science. I'm not sure what the name of Andy's podcast is. But I can tell you, Andy does not listen to this podcast, because if he did, he would correct me when I say his podcast name wrong. I'm throwing that out there as a test every week. And, of course, Dave Anthony and Greg Barrett will be doing Walking the Room live October 12th, 13th, and 14th. That is the weekend. Go check it out. It should be exciting. I know I'm going to be excited. I'm excited just to find out when I'm going to wind up performing. I want to see how the schedule gets finalized. It's going to be great. Remember, Comedy Film Nerds has books available. The Comedy Film Nerds Guide to Movies, written by me and a bunch of other people. You can get a signed copy via comedyfilmnerds.com, or you can just get a regular copy via amazon.com. But why not get the signed copy? And if you'd like me to sign it specifically, request it through those guys, and I will go and sign the book for you, and that'll be great. And then you'll have it on your shelf, and you'll think of me every time you look at it. But make sure that no bugs live in it, please. And speaking of bugs, I got to get out of here, because I need to make sure that my mattress and stuff has been picked up at my house. Did I mention that earlier? I threw away. I called the city, and we had to throw away the mattress and the box spring. And so we had to. They said make sure it's out there Tuesday, and we'll come by and pick it up, which is yesterday. So Monday, I finally got it out of the house. I just wanted it out of my bedroom. I don't want any fucking bug houses in there. So we dragged it, and I kept telling Karen, I'm like, because it was me and Karen, and I'm like, do me a favor, lift the mattress so it doesn't touch the rug in the living room in case there are bugs. I don't want them to slide off or jump. I just want to get this out of the house. So sure enough, we picked it up, and then she slid hers along. I'm like, you can't slide it. Please don't slide it. It's wrapped in plastic, but who cares? I don't want to jostle it in case one bug falls onto the ground. And she's like, okay. And then she slid it. She kept sliding it and didn't care. And she just doesn't care. She just doesn't care. I think she'd prefer to live with bugs than me at this point. So we finally get the mattress out. We walk past 5 of my male neighbors who are sitting at a table by the pool who none of them offer to help. They watch me and my wife carry it out. And then I should say, you know what? Lou did offer. Lou, the racist bartender, he offered to help, but then the other 4 dudes did not. And then we put it out by the curb, and then we brought out the box spring, and we put it out by the curb. And so that was Monday night, and they're picking it up yesterday, Tuesday. So then Karen and I went out to get something to eat on Monday night, and by the time we came back, the box spring was gone. Someone had taken the box spring off the road and taken it to their house and is now sleeping on it, just waiting to be chewed on by bugs in the middle of the fucking night. I don't know who is picking up garbage, who is taking it to their homes. I told you my wife would bring home stuff for art. Like she would find something in the street, like a paper towel holder, and go, I can make a puppet out of this or whatever the fuck, and bring it to the goddamn house. Fine, good. Those days are over. And I told her that. I go, look, you can't go to yard sales anymore. She's like, don't blame these bugs on me. I'm like, hold on. I'm blaming the future of bugs on you. That's why I'm telling you can't go to a fucking yard sale. Don't bring me some dude's shirt that is populated with fucking bugs. I don't want it. I don't want anything from a yard sale ever. No lighters, no ashtrays, no bullshit, no tchotchkes. I don't want it because who knows who's fucking hitchhiking on the bottom of it. She's like, again, I didn't bring those bugs in. I go, I didn't say you did, but I'm telling you in the future, we're amending our behavior so we don't bring them into the fucking house. However, there is someone else who does not have that credo, and that's whoever picked up the box spring from the front of my... And again, here's the thing. It's in a box spring. It's wrapped in plastic on the outside of my house. Obviously, something's wrong with it, right? You realize that. If it's wrapped in plastic... Anytime you see anything wrapped in plastic, something is wrong with it. That's it. Unless you're buying a grocery store, like ground beef or something. If something is on the road and it's wrapped in plastic like fucking Jimmy Cagney at the end of Public Enemy, do not pick it up. Do not touch it. Something is wrong with it. And they even said, they were like, hey man, you should put a sign on these things that say contaminated. Well, look, I got news for you. I got it out of my house. I had an exterminator blow through it. I wrapped it in plastic. I don't think I need to put a contaminated sign on it because this is not 28 days later, all right? If someone wants to go ahead and pick it up off the street and ruin their lives, far be it from me to step in and fuck up their program. If they want to go ahead and do something like that, and by the way, if you're going to stop and pick something wrapped in plastic up off the side of the street that's garbage, I got a feeling that any sign on it is not going to be a deterrent to you. Because either you can't read it because you don't understand the fucking language, or you don't care. You just don't fucking care, and you're willing to sleep on bugs. Because that's the kind of person you are. You drive around in your truck, and you scoop up trash from the street, then you know you live with bugs. And you just go, bugs. And I don't understand that logic at all, motherfucker. But that's fine. Right now, somewhere, someone is sleeping on my box spring. And again, it's my wedding bed, so I hope you enjoy it. Because I have a tone. Because you know why? Because I talk quickly and I don't fucking think. That's why. I think that's what it means when you have a tone. Is you don't fucking bother to care what comes flying out of your goddamn mouth. I try to grow the show and I want people to get on board and they're like, I listen to it and you talk too fast. Really, I talk too fast. How the hell else am I supposed to cram all of this into a small 3-hour window? Dude, there's no script. I just go with this shit on the fly. It makes me laugh. If it doesn't make you laugh, turn the fucking station. And by turn the station, I mean turn the wheel of your car right into a guardrail. Jesus fuck. Hey, where are you going, boy?